The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Aaron Glenn had a lot to say about a few Jets who, if he's right, this team might be pretty good. We'll talk about that and much more. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started. Man, our Jets are primed to win another offseason, baby. We bleed Jets green each and every day. Will the playoff drought finally end? Kings of the offseason, baby. This is what we do. At least we have Garrett Wilson. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinn Williams. Prepare to be underdogs. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show. Here we go, here on a Wednesday. Hey, quick announcement for those who are coming to Tampa Bay. If you want a discounted hotel room, the link is live on Patreon and Discord for you to reserve a hotel room at Hotel Riverwalk down in Tampa Bay. 4-star hotel, discounted room rate, first come, first serve. Book your stay, all the info, patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. I will be announcing the details of our game day tailgate, which you could buy your ticket for in advance. So stay tuned for that. We already shared the plan for our Saturday night party. So we got a bunch of great events that are coming your way for any Jet fan who maybe already lives in Tampa. There's a lot of you. And certainly any Jet fan who's making the trip for Jets Bucks in week 3. So with that said, we got a whole lot to discuss on the program today. Please click that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And let's talk about what Aaron Glenn said yesterday. He highlighted a bunch of players, but I want to focus in on a few players that if Aaron Glenn's assessment on what they are is correct, this Jets team might be a lot better than what the outside, the outsiders think, the prognosticators think about what the Jets will be in 2025. Let's start with the tight end room. Because right now, you look at the wide receivers, and I don't think anyone really feels great about that room besides one player in that room, and that's Garrett Wilson. So, tight end room needs to step up. They used a second-round pick, a high second-round pick, on Mason Taylor. This was Aaron Glenn yesterday being asked about Mason Taylor.
I think he's been doing an outstanding job in that aspect. And it's not just the pass catching, because that's what you guys see, and that's what you guys really think it's an moment. But it's the blocking, to me, is what really gets me going. Now, because I know what he can do in the passing game, but for him to come out and do the things he's doing in the run game, even though you can't do a lot of running because it's not a physical part of the season, but him understand exactly what he's supposed to do and the position, the body language, the leverage, all those things. Man, I really love that when it comes to the run game.
Look, Mason Taylor is a huge part of all this because if you read some of the reports from yesterday's practice, and we had Robbie Sabo on talking about it, Mason Taylor is heavily involved. I mean, without saying it, it kind of feels like he's the starting tight end already. So they like him a lot, obviously, and their assessment of him has to be correct because Mason Taylor emerging as, to use a Lions example, the Jets version of Sam Laporta changes a lot for the outlook of this team. Now, another tight end that Glenn was asked about is Jeremy Ruckert. Once upon a time, we thought Jeremy Ruckert would be this franchise next great tight end. It hasn't worked to this point. This was AG talking about what he has seen from Ruckert.
That's another player that I think he's improved quite a bit. That's another player I actually had a chance to talk with face-to-face and told him about the things that he needs to improve on. And listen, he wants to be good. He comes from a really good program, and we have a number of guys from that program. So, and I've stressed him pretty hard, throughout this camp because I think there's a lot of meat on the bone with that player. Good size, long arms. I think he can help us in the passing game. Obviously, he's going to be a really good block for us, but there's some technical things that he had to improve on, and he's doing everything he can to improve on those things.
So let's hope that Ruckert could take that step forward, right? We've said this before. To be fair to Ruckert, I don't think he's ever been properly coached. So I think we learn a lot about the Jets coaching staff, specifically the offensive coaching staff, based on maybe some development on that side of the ball. See, Robert Saleh was obviously not a great head coach, but I think he hired a really good defensive staff. I could give you chapter and verse on players the Jets brought in on that side of the ball that got better and developed properly. Several defensive linemen got better. Several linebackers got better. Several corners got better, right? And Saleh deserves credit for that. The problem was no one on offense got better. Who got better as an offensive player, right? Garrett Wilson was already a star. Like, you don't give Saleh credit for that. Breece Hall, unfortunately, was probably at his best before he got hurt his rookie year. You don't give Saleh credit for that. Like, the offensive development has been so piss poor. And look, we don't know much about Tanner Engstrand as far as, you know, how he's going to be as an offensive coordinator, but we do know he comes from a great background. And if you believe in Aaron Glenn, you got to believe that he hired a good offensive staff. It's hard to imagine it's a worse staff. You know, the biggest hire, I think, beyond Engstrand is the offensive line coach. Steve Hyden comes over from the Lions, where he was the tight ends coach, but previously was the assistant offensive line coach with the Cardinals. I mean, he's never been an O-line coach before as a full-time coach, but if you believe in Aaron Glenn, then you got to hope that he hired a great staff, that he's got good acumen to hire quality coaches. But getting back to Ruckert, why I brought up the coaching, I don't think Ruckert's been properly coached, so I'm not going to sit here and exonerate him. He's been disappointing. He was a third-round pick. You know, being from Long Island is only going to get you so far with this fan base. He got, you know, the benefit of the doubt, I would say, his first couple of years because of his backstory, right? Because the fact his dad is going nuts on draft day, and we all love that story. And shout out to Bill Ruckert. He might be watching this show. I know he tunes in. But, you know, Jeremy Ruckert, he's playing for his job, at least with the Jets this summer. I think he's on the team, but I don't think it's a guarantee, right? But I think that answer there is good. Man, you know, Glenn is working with Ruckert. That he thinks there's a lot, to quote him, meat on the bone there. And I agree. I think if you go back and watch Jeremy Ruckert at Ohio State, he's talented, man. And who was throwing to him at Ohio State? Justin Fields. Who loves throwing to the tight ends? Justin Fields. So maybe they could get something out of Ruckert this year. That would certainly change the potential outlook on what the Jets are offensively. I mean, Justin Fields, among quarterbacks in the NFL over the last 2 seasons, and you had to have started at least 20 games to qualify for this stat. Only Lamar Jackson and Brock Purdy have higher QBRs when targeting tight ends. So I think Mason Taylor is going to be someone that they rely on right away. And if they get something from Fields, or excuse me, they get something from Ruckert with Fields throwing to him, great. I mean, Fields is an 87.7 QBR when going after tight ends. Third best in the league. So let's hope that we get to see this tight end room be a lot better than the outside predictions are for it. Because that could determine if this offense is better than we think. That's going to be a huge part of all this. Now let's hear from Aaron Glenn, not just talking about the tight ends, but he was asked a question about how important is it, I should say, for someone after Garrett Wilson to emerge in the receiver room as the number 2 pass catcher on this team. Interesting answer here from Glenn.
Well, listen, all of our guys are going to have to step up. I mean, it doesn't matter which veteran they is. There can be a young guy that can step up. Listen, we have guys that can make plays for us, and that's at every level, every position we have. Running backs, our tight ends, what we just talked about. We have other receivers that's going to make plays. So I'm expecting all of our guys that's going to be here, right, to step up and take the burden off Garrett. Listen, Garrett's going to have his chance of one-on-ones. Is he going to get double? Yeah, he's going to get double. He's a good receiver. But when you do that, that leaves somebody else in a one-on-one situation. And I'll take that with our guys all day.
I mean, that's what he's supposed to say, right? He can't say, hey, we stink. But I think you have every right as a fan to be skeptical, right? I mean, Josh Reynolds is not awful, but he's not a number 2 wide receiver. Alan Lazard, if he's like your 4th receiver, fine, but he's not a number 2 wide receiver. He brings up Brees. I do think that was an illuminating answer there, because I do think Brees, at least I'm hoping, with legitimate coaching, could finally be utilized the way I believe he should be utilized. Brees Hall is as good as any running back in the league as a receiver. Coming off an ACL injury 2 years ago, he was 2nd in the NFL in yards from scrimmage at his position. Only Christian McCaffrey had more. He was top 5 in the league in yards from scrimmage. Brees Hall is a guy that needs to be used like Christian McCaffrey. How the Niners use him should be the blueprint for how the Jets use Brees. And look, Brees is a free agent at the end of the year, so run him into the ground. Get everything you have out of him. Find out if he can stay healthy and take it over the course of a full season. It's a big year for him. He knows that. Right? Glenn challenged the running back room as a whole when he was asked about Brees, and he highlighted Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis and how they're going to use all of them. Great. Because I do think there's a scenario here where Garrett's obviously the unquestioned number 1 receiver. He will lead the Jets in total targets. After that, would it be shocking if Brees Hall's number 2 in targets on this team? If they use him properly, I don't think it should be. Go look at McCaffrey's stats. Look how many targets he gets in a year. Right? What do the Niners have? Oh, they have a really good offensive line. Well, the Jets are built to have the same thing. This offensive line better be one of the strengths of the team. It better be the best unit on offense, because they are an offensive team built to be able to run the football, and they've invested so much in that O-line. So the wide receiver room, no one's going to convince me it's a good room. It's not. You have one legit player. But if you maximize Brees' ability as a receiver, and Mason Taylor is the real deal, like you heard Glenn talking about there, there's a path to being a competent offense, right? And then if the defense is what I think it's going to be, well, then you should be in a lot of games, and it comes down to coaching. And that's how you could take a team that many think is only going to win between 4 and 6 games to, hey, you're 9-8, and, you know, you're in the mix for a playoff spot. Like, that's how you take that step. That's how you close the gap. That, and you hopefully don't lose multiple games because of your special teams, right? Your kicking situation doesn't cost you, which, who knows? We don't know who the kicker is. That's another problem. I'd imagine it's better than Zerline. Can they get league average kicking? I think we'd all sign for that right now. But I think game to game, who leads the team in targets after Garrett is going to be game plan dependent. But that's putting a lot of faith in this coaching staff. But if they're good, it could be done, right? If they're well coached, it can be done. JD makes a great point. We are ahead of the game as the OC knows Brees is a weapon. Hackett didn't know Brees was an effective receiver. Of all the quotes over the last few years, that one might have been the worst one, JD. Nathaniel Hackett in week 8 saying, I didn't realize how good of a receiver Brees was. It's like, did you watch his tape as a rookie? He had a 200-yard game against the Dolphins, 100 as a rusher, 100 as a receiver. Like, what are we doing? So I really do think a major key to this offense is Brees. They didn't trade him, which tells me they're going to use him. But are they going to use him properly? Because I will continue to say, I don't believe they have used him properly. There's a reason why a year ago at this time, we all felt confident in saying, if you have a fantasy football draft, it's not crazy to take Brees first overall. That was a conversation a year ago. Some people actually did it. Some people took Brees in the top 3. I know I did. My team sucked. But that was a real conversation backed by people who aren't Jet fans, who do the fantasy nerd breakdown all the time. So someone has to emerge. Could be the tight ends. Maybe it's using Brees properly. But to me, that is a major, major key to all this. One more from Aaron Glenn. And then I'll tell you guys about the latest raffle prize that I added. We're going hard this week, baby. All right, the AsManiacs deserve it. Here's Aaron Glenn being asked about Justin Fields. And I love this answer here. And I think if you're an old-timey Jet fan, you'll love it as well. And this answer inspires our next raffle prize. So pay attention real close.
There's things about that player. I think every coach that want those players to have, and he has this quiet confidence about himself. He leads by the way that he wants to lead. All right, his influence with the guys out there, I think you guys can see it. He can galvanize a group of men. Listen, obviously he's a talented player, and listen, I'm happy that I have him as my quarterback. I really am, because I think the sky's the limit for this player. I really do. Listen, I'm not going to go out there and say that he's the next Joe Namath or anything like that, but I will tell you what, man, he's going to be a good player for us, and I'm excited what he's going to do for us this season.
Great answer. I love it. Sounds genuine. If they're right on Fields, you're going to feel like this team's got a real coach, right? Because they're defiant in their belief in Fields. Let's hope Glenn is right. Let's hope all the Fields truthers that watch this show are right. Peter Castro, JJ. I hope they're right. Now, Joe Namath was mentioned there. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's add another prize to our weekly raffle. For the second ever time, I'm giving away a full-sized Broadway Joe helmet. Full-sized, comes with a certificate of authenticity. You see it there on the screen. This is full-sized. It is the helmet that Namath wore during his playing days. I tried to find a picture to match the helmet. So if you want it, gift the membership to be entered. You also have a chance to win in our upcoming raffle a signed Clyde Frazier jersey, a signed Kevin Mawai jersey, and a signed Bart Scott jersey. So we've only done the full-size Namath now twice. Let's start June off with a bang. Full-size gift away to be eligible. And I'll tell you what, the first person to gift a 5-spot or more, it is doubled. So you give 5, you're in for 10. You give 10, you're in for 20. We'll kick off the Namath edition to the raffle in style. Devin is the first to gift today. He gifted 1 channel membership. He is in our raffle for 1. Devin, thank you very much. J-Quest with a super chat. Happy birthday, Rick Kent, legend. Happy birthday to the great Rick Kent. And speak of the devil, Rick Kent gifted 10 on his birthday. Rick, we should be sending you gifts, not you giving us gifts. 10 people just got memberships from Rick Kent. Rick, you're in the now Namath full-sized helmet raffle for 20 because you're the first to do it. Let's go. All right. If you hear your name called, these are from Rick Kent, J.A. Silent Bob, Jerry Moore, Matthew Wright, Sneaks NYC, TH3 Entertainment, Joe Bonesy, AZ Jets, Donald Wallace, TP Jet, all receiving channel memberships. We got a couple more to get into here. Then I'm going to open up the Gustbuster Umbrella Hotline. Devin, your membership earlier in the show went to Furniture Guy. I just went and looked it up. Let's see what else we have here. Dominic, who called the show the other day, he's in the raffle for 1. He gifted a channel membership. Dominic's membership went to listener Sonny Crockett. Also, shout out to Devin. Devin gifting a 5-spot. If you hear your name, these are from Devin, and I'm excited to share that we might have enough to update our newest emoji. Tenacious S, Mario Rapallo, Chris Peterson, T-Town Jet, all receiving channel memberships. But wait, there's more. Our guy Dre is in the house. He's checking in with a 5-spot of channel memberships. Let's go. Dre gifting to Bronx Animal, Matt F, Les Comar, Brandon the H, Falcon West. They all received channel memberships from Dre. Dre, thank you, my friend. Hope to see you at one of our events soon. Julian, who won a Curtis Martin jersey in a recent raffle. He just sent in a $20 super chat. That's the equivalent of 5 memberships. Cha-ching. God dang, I'm getting in this raffle. Happy birthday to Rick Kent. Julian, thank you very much. You are down for 5. Once again, if you just tuned in, only second time we've given out this prize. Peter Castro won the first full-size Namath helmet, but we got a full-size Broadway Joe helmet, Clyde Frazier jersey, Kevin Mawai jersey, and a Bart Scott jersey on the way for the raffle. Quick PSA, and then I'm going to open up the Gustbuster hotline and take some of your calls. For those of you who are interested in our annual group buy, you have till next Friday, June 13th, to click the link in this description and buy your ticket to join us for Jets Panthers. The first 45 who buy a ticket will get a field pass to go on the field for a group photo and individual photos after the game. We're trying to get more field passes from the Jets, but we only secured 45 right now. So buy your ticket. You have till next Friday, and you'll get a ticket in section 129 with all of us. Same section last year that we did the Texans game meetup for. That was awesome. I'll have info about a tailgate. We'll be with Tailgate Joe. Before the game, it's a Sunday, 1 o'clock kickoff, October 19th, Jets, Panthers. Buy your ticket if you want to join us. We need to give the Jets an answer by Friday, June 13th, so you have till then to lock in your spot. Once again, you'll be seated with AsManiacs. It's going to be a great day. I'm looking forward to it. It's a winnable game as well, so hopefully the Jets go 2-0 during AsManiac group buy events, because last year the Jets won. Garrett Wilson made the greatest catch I probably will ever see in my life. That was awesome. Cody with a comment here. I can't remember Jake being more fired up than what happened in the Knicks live show yesterday. That and the one time someone defended Jack Easterby a few months ago. Yesterday was one for the ages. I've calmed down a little bit. I don't like the decision to get rid of Thibodeau. I think it's unfair. I think he deserved another year. As a Knicks fan, though, what choice do I have? I hope Leon Rose, who's done overall an incredible job, knows what he's doing, because I just think this was a huge risk. I'm not saying it can't work. There's been examples of this working, but we're talking about the Knicks here. They're finally, a stable franchise, having success, just had the most success they've had in 25 years. I'm just very weary about doing this move, right? Like, I get it. There's examples it works. You could tell me about Buck Showalter to Joe Torre. You could tell me about Mark Jackson to Steve Kerr. You could tell me about Dwayne Casey to Nick Nurse. I get it. I'm just very concerned that the Knicks are going to be the team that's going to get this right. But Leon Rose has done a great job, so I hope he knows what he's doing. But I'm still not thrilled with the move. Chef Kevin in the house. Hit the Chef Kevin emoji. He is sending in a $20 super chat. Happy birthday, Rick Kent. Happy birthday, Rick Kent. Happy birthday, Rick Kent. Happy birthday, Rick Kent. Rick Kent's the man. Got to meet Rick in person in London last year. Always supports the channel. Happy birthday to the Rick Kent. All right, let's get to some calls now, shall we? I pinned the link. Gusbuster Hotline. Tuning in late. Link to buy your hotel room for Tampa Bay at a discounted rate is available on the Patreon and in the announcement tab and Tampa Bay Bucks meetup tab on Discord. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. If you want to join the Patreon, shout out to everyone who's joined, like most recently, Anthony L., Quincy Ferguson, Des Jetfan, Che Carter, Susan and Bob Holt, Adam is Too Cool, and Mike Dems, our most recent Patreon subscribers. Are we ready for some calls? I think the answer to that is yes. First up today on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline is Six Rings.
How's it going?
I'm okay, Six Rings. How are you?
No, I saw your interview actually with Joel Namath last night.
Yes, that was from about a year and a half
A
ago.
while ago.
Yeah.
And you probably at that time had 20,000, 30,000 subscribers. That was 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was summer of 2023 before the
Yeah, so
Jet
your
season.
show wasn't even as big as it is now, and you got him on your show. So that shows how much you've improved and how hard you've worked on your craft. So that's good.
God, he's buttering me up again, folks.
I'm not buttering you up. I'm honest. I see these guys, they get Giannis on their YouTube, but they have 3 million subscribers, and they give out, and you have nice prizes. Like I see prizes like that too, but they have 2 million subscribers. So
Yes.
it's a little more difficult for your show to do rather than someone who has 3, 4, 5, 6 million.
Well, you're going to learn that I have the best listeners in all of sports. And, unlike your
found
fandom
a
of your
Patriots
Pats,
channel like yours.
there's no such thing as a bandwagon Jets fan, Six Rings. So anyone who tunes into a
Oh,
Jet
there is.
show,
If the Jets start doing good and then everyone starts cheering for them, and
yeah, but you
there's
realize,
always bandwagon fans.
yeah, but you realize that if you're a Jet fan that's tuning into content about the team that hasn't made the playoffs in 15 years in June, you're a different level of fan compared to someone like you who's from Canada that just jumped on the Patriots bandwagon after they won their first Super Bowl.
Well, I was young, so it's kind of not my fault.
I'm just saying.
But
Yeah,
I get it.
I don't.
Yeah,
I,
and I didn't
don't
mean to
dislike
bother
you,
you.
Six Rings. You seem
Yeah.
like a good guy, but I will call out fraudulent fandom anytime I see it.
Oh, okay, and I didn't mean to bug. I have anxiety, so winning the raffle, the emails, the jerseys, and everything, the autographs, it became a little much. So I didn't mean to like send all those emails and then posters and autographs. I just hide it, because I work in a hospital. I'm trying to be a technician in the school. So I guess I kind of hide it with my job, but sometimes it kicks in.
Well, Six Rings, I'll tell you what. No worries, and I am a man of my word. You were
Yeah,
allowed. You won the CJ Mosley jersey fair and
yeah,
square.
yeah.
So I appreciate you being willing to work with me on a different prize. I will make sure that we get you a
Yeah.
Patriots item. I'm trying to narrow it down right now. The
You
difficult
can
thing is not
surprise
getting
me.
the item. It's that you live in Canada because Canada shipping is a little different than what I'm used to.
Okay, and I had a question for you. Two things.
Yes,
One, Sauce Gardner. Like, are you willing to pay this guy all the money? He wants a lot of money,
he
and I
does.
think, and I think he unfollowed you guys on Instagram. Maybe it was fake news, or he unfollowed the Jets, and he didn't show up to the camps and everything. So I don't know if it's true.
Yeah, it's
And he's got two
he
years left.
he changed his profile picture, so people were going crazy over that. But it's still him as a Jet. I am
But are you
not.
willing? Would you pay him the
Yes,
money he wants?
I would.
Yes, you would.
I
Okay.
would. Yeah, I mean
And
he's
the
a two-time
Knicks,
first-team All-Pro.
right? And he's young.
He is
And
young.
also, right. My second thing, the Knicks. How I would have done it is I would have waited for the start of the season. If everything's not going, Siakam was unearthly that series. He played like he went off. He was the best player on the court.
He was. He had a phenomenal series. But I disagree with you. If you're going to fire the coach, you do it now. You don't do it once the season starts.
No, no, because some teams they do it mid-season.
Yeah, and that's not smart. If you're going to make the change, have conviction and do it now. I disagree with the decision, but if you're going to do it now, you do it now and give that new coach time to learn the roster and plan for the season ahead.
Right. Okay. But it's not all him. It's also Bridges. You gave up 5 first-round picks for Bridges. That's a lot. You invested in him.
I am well aware. They also would
That's
not
all.
have beaten your team if they didn't make that deal, so it's complicated.
But also now they saying they want Giannis, but you don't have these teams have better packages
I
now.
don't think they're going to acquire Giannis. I think that's just fans
No,
putting it out
no.
there.
So
I think the Knicks make this move because they believe in the roster and they think they need a
right,
new
so
voice to
I guess they
maximize the
might go
talent.
for Malone, right? They might go for Malone.
I would be very
So that
surprised if it's Mike Malone.
does that only make sense? I can't think of anyone else they want. The championship coach.
Now, can I ask you a question about your team?
Yeah,
Are
yeah.
you concerned that the 31-year-old wide receiver you gave massive money to be your number one wide receiver is on a boat doing drugs, allegedly?
Allegedly. Yeah. Because he was also supposed to be a leader, you know what I mean? So if it was just a rookie, like Kyle Williams or someone, you can kind of look past it, but
Now,
he was
if
supposed to be one
Stephon
of our
Diggs
best players.
called you, Six Rings, if Stephon Diggs called you up and he said, "Hey, man, I'm going on a boat with Cardi B and some attractive ladies. I want you to join me." Are you joining him or are you anti-drug and you won't step foot on the boat?
You know what? I'm anti-drug. I'm anti, like, I don't do that stuff. Like, I'll go out with my friends to the bar, have a drink occasionally, or when I go on vacation, but not that stuff. I've had friends, die from stuff a lot harder than that.
You're not doing any nose candy, is what you're telling us?
No, no, like, that's like, when you're younger, some people experiment with that stuff, but some people experiment, but trust me, that stuff's not good. It hits you hard, and when it hits you, people die. I know people that pass away, from that stuff. Drugs.
What if Stephon Diggs is like, "Hey, man, like I'm only capable of having a good season if you come with me and my crew on the boat"?
I don't have to do drugs with him.
I don't know if you have to or not. I mean, he might
I
try
can
and peer
control
pressure you.
myself.
Can
You
you?
can. I can control myself.
So you don't think peer pressure would work on you?
No, I've been there, peer pressure. Smoking every day with my friends. We would go to college. I've been there. No, peer pressure doesn't work on me. I can control myself.
Okay, now they were twerking on this boat as well. What if they were like, "Hey,
That's okay.
we want you to be in the twerk contest"?
That's no problem. That's not doing drugs or anything. That's
Okay,
twerking.
so if
That's
Cardi
no problem.
B specifically said that she's going to twerk and she wants you to twerk next to her, you'd be cool with that?
A lot of people would.
I,
A lot of people would.
you're twerking though, right? Like you're not sitting there
That's
watching
okay, but
Okay, so
that's different. I'm down to go with Stephon Diggs and Cardi B and
have you
that's what's
twerked
up.
before?
Oh, when I was young, not twerk, but we used to call it grinding and like other terms, not really twerking.
Well, twerking is not grinding because twerking is a solo endeavor. Grinding is when you're rubbing up against
You know,
someone.
listen, if Stephon Diggs can go put up 10 touchdowns, I'll do it.
Okay. So you're willing to twerk on this boat in front of the
I'll
large
twerk
crowd
on
of
the
people.
boat. Yes, I
Okay.
am willing to do that.
All right. We're just trying to figure out what you're willing to do for your team
But I
around
don't
here.
give in to peer pressure. You get older, you have to learn to control yourself. Temptations are there for everyone. It's just how you manifest and control the situation. Like I said, I've seen a lot of people in my life go down that road. And
Okay.
some are in the ground.
Now let me ask you this, right? Before the Jets kicked the shit out of your team this year in our home opener, we had a diehard Jet fan, great Asmaniac, do this to a Drake May jersey. Would you be willing to do this to, let's say, a Justin Fields jersey? Let's see your level of fandom here.
I think that guy I know, right?
Why is he? I didn't get it. What did he do? I missed something.
Well, take a look at your screen.
I think that guy I know, right?
So he's twerking on it?
No, he's doing more than that. That's full thrust.
I don't know.
So,
I don't know what he was doing.
So what you're saying is you're not as passionate as this Jet fan is.
But I don't know what he did.
What do you mean?
See.
He's very clear. He's very clearly thrusting in front of a Drake May jersey that is about to be burnt down.
I think that guy I know, right?
There's nothing wrong with that. Burning a jersey, that's just for fun.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about full action thrust of the jersey. Are you willing to do that? In front of a huge amount of people.
I'm willing to burn a jersey.
That's not what I'm asking, though.
I don't know.
Once again, watch your screen.
Oh, this is what I'm going to do to you all seasoned little bitches.
Are you willing to do that for your team?
Maybe.
Oh, take that, you pesky Patriots fans.
Outlandish and start humping jerseys and stuff like that. No. I'm old school, stomp the jersey to the ground and set it on fire.
I would say Neil is old school as well. That's the listener that's doing that there. He cares about his team.
Well, some fans react other ways. Some fans piss on jerseys, Maybe it just depends what your forte is.
Let me ask you this. Are you willing to take your shirt off and rally a crowd at a tailgate for the Patriots?
A lot of people do that. That's more common.
Are you willing to do it, though? What level of fan are you?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, so you would do
this.
Take it
all! Take it all! Let's go!
There's nothing wrong with that. It's all in good fun. Yeah.
Okay, so you're fine with that, but you're against
I'm
this?
Oh, take that, you pesky Patriots fans.
Listen, man, people hum, people piss on jerseys, people set them on fire.
Would you do that act, though? That's the question, because I could tell you anyone who watches my show would do that in a second if it meant the Jets
all your fans
would beat your
do
team.
that?
Yes, without question. I know this Jet fan base. I know how great they are. I'm questioning your bandwagon fandom of the Patriots. I don't think you're willing to do what it takes to see the team be good.
I don't know if I would do that. I really have to think of it. But I would burn a jersey. I would go that far.
All right.
Set it all on fire.
Any other thoughts before we let you go, Six Rings?
No, that's good. That's all. I just want to get your input on the Sauce Gardner and whatever.
Yes, I would pay him and Garrett Wilson. They are
yes, you would. Okay.
two of the best players at their position in the league. Sends the right message.
Wilson too.
Yes, Garrett Wilson to me is even more of a no-brainer than Sauce. Sauce is coming off a down year for his standards.
But Sauce has been more awards, he's more accoladed at the end of the day.
Correct. But it's also a little different because Sauce could be great just being individually great at his position. Garrett can't produce unless he has a quarterback that can get him the ball, and the Jets have had some of the worst quarterback play in the league the last 3 years.
Hey, you guys had Rodgers, you had Sam Darnold. Maybe
Yeah,
I
but
don't think you guys have
Garrett
had
Wilson
bad
never played with
quarterbacks.
Sam Darnold.
No, but you've had good quarterbacks.
Not in a long time. And Sam wasn't good when he was a Jet.
Yeah, I guess so. But thanks. That's all.
Ladies and gentlemen, 6 rings.
Take that, you pesky Patriots fans.
I mean, you could tell who's passionate about the team and who's not. Patriot fan, they don't have it. Couple important super chats and memberships to dive into. First things first, K Brock writes in that 6 rings, P's sitting down. Salient point. King and Dreams is gifted 5 channel memberships. For those who tuned in late, we are giving away a full-size Broadway Joe helmet. That's right. Only the second time we've done it. It needed to be done. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for K&D. He is in our raffle for 5 channel memberships. Yeah, baby. Okay, I don't know who got K&D's memberships. I got to pull it up. In the meantime, though, let's also shout out G-Man the Prophet. He's in our raffle for 5. Let's go. Let me pull up these names if I can. In the meantime, I also want to bring everyone up to date on our poll that we're running. I'll explain that in a moment. We gave out the May or revealed the May rankings yesterday, put together by Boomtown and the committee. So I'll get to the poll in a second. But first, let me shout out Big Fella for the super chat who writes in 6 rings. If you have an issue with anxiety, why would you call into a Jet show wearing Pat's garbage? It's a great take. 6 rings, you're going to have to answer that one. You're going to have to answer that question because I can't answer it for you. The people who got memberships are as followed. First off, I want to thank KD, and I want to thank, of course, G-Man for their contributions to the show, especially in a slower time right now. It really helps as the views are down because only the diehards are watching Jet content in June. The people who got memberships from G-Man are Adam J, Garrett Loescher, JetFan911, Joe the Jet G, Isaiah Russell, and did I say Adam J? Adam, you're included in that too. As far as the people who got memberships from K&D, I can't actually see any of the names. So K&D, thank you for the contribution. And if you got one from K&D, make sure you thank them because it's not letting me see who actually got them. How about this? The Lupman delivers. The great Luppy is in our raffle for 5. Let's go.
We are mama way.
MJ Wilson, Mr. McMoney, Rooney Tunes, Motivated T, and Rich Rise, all receiving channel memberships. Let's get to more of your calls. Go Jets, baby, is on the line. Hello, Go Jets, baby.
Hey man, how's it going? I wanted to hear some of your talks about what do you think? I know the Thibodeau firing really upset you, and it upset me as well. I can't believe they did that. That was the most Knicks thing ever. I wonder who's going to be the coach. I mean, this is insane. This doesn't even make any sense. I mean, I know he had like a 7 to 8 man, seven man rotation, but he was, though you use Delon Wright, I feel like in the Pacers, he started to use his bench more. Maybe it was too late, but it's like, it was just, it's a bad move.
I think he deserves another year. I'm not saying he's the perfect coach. There are some fair criticisms of him, but I think making this move now, I feel like it is very, very risky because you're putting the next head coach in the spot where if they don't get to the NBA Finals, it's not good enough. And that's tough to ask for anyone who's stepping into that shoes. Doesn't mean it can't work. Steve Kerr came in, and the rest is history. We saw Nick Nurse replace Dwayne Casey, won the championship the following year. Larry Brown took over for Rick Carlisle with the Pistons. Buck Showalter was the manager until Joe Torre took over. The rest is history. There's examples of it working. There's also examples of it failing, where you never get back to the place you were just at. So I think it's a huge risk and one that I would not have made this offseason. I would have waited another year.
Yeah, me too. I mean, as a fan, I know people have asked you this question. I mean, I hope we can get Giannis. I don't know how it would happen.
I don't
We
see it.
probably,
The only way the Knicks could get Giannis is if he says he wants to only play for the Knicks. The Bucks are willing to make a deal to try and like say, hey, thank you for being a great superstar. Thank you for being here as long as you were when you could have left. We're going to honor your request and try and trade you to where you want to go. Giannis would have to say that. The Bucks would have to be willing to make a deal. And Giannis would also have to tell other teams and say, I'm not signing an extension with you if you require me. And guess what? That still might not do it because another team might say, we'll worry about that in 2 years. You're under contract till then. Like Damian Lillard didn't want to go to Milwaukee. He only wanted to go to the Heat. Guess what? He went to Milwaukee and he didn't sit out. He played because he's not going to miss out on, a year of salary, right? So I just think it's too complicated. I think that firing Thibodeau is the, quote, big move they're going to make. They'll add to the bench. They'll make some additions to try and make the team a little more whole, a little better. But they're banking on a new voice getting more out of the starting lineup they put together. Like that's the decision it came down to.
Yeah, I wonder if Rick Brunson will be the coach.
He won't be the head coach, but I'd be shocked if he's not on the staff.
Yeah, he should be. I think he has great chemistry with his son. Also, I think the Spurs might be a sneaky landing spot for Giannis then, because De'Aaron Fox, Wemby, I think I heard Giannis he wants to play for a tax-free state. So I think I could see him going to the Spurs. Anyway, enough with that talk. I want to talk about some of the OTAs. So I heard some good news about Arian Smith. That makes me feel better about the pick. Right now, a lot of rookies are impressing too. So, I mean, a lot of it is hopium and hoopla. So we'll see where that goes. But I'm really impressed with Mason Taylor, and I think he's going to be a factor for us not only this season but also in fantasy football. I think he's a sneaky draft pick for people. And also, I heard you talk about Breece Hall that you picked him in the first round. I think he is going to be a really good pickup this year because you could probably get him in the third round or fourth round. So that's, I still pick Breece Hall just in the third round. And, Garrett Wilson's obviously a dog. Like, if we're going to go for fantasy football purposes, there's only 3 Jets players I think we should really be targeting. And that's Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, and Mason Taylor, and maybe Justin Fields in the later rounds. But
there's value maybe with Breece coming off the year he had if you have confidence in the Jets using him properly.
Yeah, and I definitely do. But other than that, as far as wide receivers go with the free agents, I'm surprised Amari Cooper's not signed and Keenan Allen's not signed. And I'm surprised the Jets haven't maybe reached out to one of them. I mean, I know they're old, but they can play,
Well, I mean, they don't want to sign anyone who's over the age of 30. So that's why they're not going to sign them.
Yeah. But yeah, man, that's basically all the points all the takeaways I had today. But yeah.
Go Jets, baby. Appreciate the call. Fair points. I am just not counting on any notable addition at this point. I don't see it. Today's poll is a great one. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday, if you missed it, we announced the May Power Rankings, our top 10 Asmaniacs. What we will do now every month is come up with the top 4 quotes that were said on the show and ask the audience to decide which quote was the best one. So, the top 4, and the reason why it's 4 is because YouTube only lets you have 4 options in a poll. So, full disclosure, there were other quotes to consider, but these are the 4 we decided on, or the committee decided on. The first quote, "Yeah, I am a lawyer." That was said by Mr. Bonesy. "I am a master debater." That was said by Gary. "I anger myself" was said by douchebag Allen. "F you, Allen." That was said by King Lowski. Those are the 4 options. You have till the end of the show to vote. For people watching live, well, right now, at 36%, King Lowski, with his quote, "F you, Allen," is the leader in the clubhouse. "Yeah, I am a lawyer," 31%. In second place. Third place, "I anger myself" from Allen at 18%. And in fourth place, "I am a master debater" from Gary. And that has 15%. But right now it is clear the audience believes the top quote that was said during the month of May on this show was this.
Fuck you, Alan.
Tough to argue with that salient point. Ladies and gentlemen, more of your great calls right now. Joining us live from his desk is none other than...
Well, he's home sitting in a chair, 'cause his back hurts. On the road, he's sitting in a chair, in an upgraded hotel room. He calls the show his ass is in a chair. His wife thinks he's weird. He got a beard. He loves the Jets, the Super Chats. He's a big fella. He's all alone in a room on a chair. But that's a big fella.
Well, at least the hotel room's upgraded, Jake. So, I wanted to talk about Six Rings calling in, bro. I feel bad for him, to be honest. I'm starting to feel bad for him because it's like, I know people who struggle with anxiety and stuff like that. But the thing is, with anxiety, you don't put yourself in situations that's going to cause you more anxiety. And if you want anxiety, be a Pats fan and go into a Jet game. Okay? That'll give you anxiety, brother. So I don't understand it. And you asked him a question about what does he think about Stephon Diggs being on the boat with, the women with the drugs and everything. That's par for the Patriots, bro. Just look at that franchise, man. I mean, they had a murderer. They have a walking STD in Edelman. They got who else? The deflated balls, the friggin' Spygate, the cheating, Robert Handjob Kraft, all this stuff, bro. That's par for the course, man. So he said he became a fan of them when he was a kid. Well, you can change as you grow up, man. I mean, I don't like peanut butter and jelly as much as I did when I was like 5 years old, bro. So, there's room for growth. If he was ever a Jet fan, we'd welcome him with open arms. But listen, if you're a Pats fan, that's enemy territory right there, and we don't accept that here, man. So you don't see Chiefs fan calling in with Mahomes jerseys and Chiefs hats and stuff like that. You don't see it. So
well, the biggest mistake I think he made, he apologized for it, but the damage was done. Was he came in on the attack initially and then wasn't prepared to even know anything about his team.
Yeah, but he's wearing a T-shirt today that says "Go Pats." He's got all the Patriot gear on. That apology's bullshit to me, but
well, I mean, he trashed the team.
Yeah, exactly. Now about the Knicks, I saw rumors about how Phoenix is blowing everything up, and Cat may be a candidate to go to Phoenix for Durant and stuff. How real is that? Do you think?
I mean, it works from a financial standpoint. I wouldn't do it though. That really shortens your window. Durant, he's obviously still an elite scorer. I don't think I would do that though. Like, I would acquire Durant if it cost me much less. Like, if it just took like Mikal Bridges, you send him ironically back to Phoenix, and like a pick or something, then I think it's different. But I'm not trading away an All NBA player for 37-year-old KD. I don't think it makes sense.
I agree with you.
It's too risky. Like, if you guarantee me health, fine, then maybe he'd make the difference. But I just think it's very, very risky.
Yeah, and there's a lot of miles on those legs, man. So,
he's always hurt, man. Look at the games played. Like, Durant has not had a healthy year in forever.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that's a problem. I think the Knicks overpaid OG. I think that's another problem. Like, I don't think he's...
They had no choice, though. Like, when they made the deal, they had a handshake agreement. They were gonna pay him the max to keep him.
Yeah, and there's a rumor going around that the Knicks are going to try and get Jay Wright, which I don't see that happening.
Not happening. Jay Wright's not happening. Hurley's not happening, and Malone's not happening.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's all I got, man. Have a good day, and I'll see you on the next show, bro.
Big fella, appreciate you as always, man. Great call. Hit the like button. Comments, questions, super chats. Man with a rake with a super chat for us. The Florida Panthers won the President's Trophy, made the playoffs when they fired their head coach, and the results going to 3 straight finals. For sure, hockey's a little different because they go through coaches left and right in hockey. I mean, it's ridiculous. And it's the same like coaches that get fired and then rehired immediately by different teams. It's like a never-ending cycle. Barbarossa wants to know, can we get an Asmaniac bracket on the biggest douchebags? I need to know who's more hated, Allen or Bang. I think Allen would win going away. Bang is hated, but he's too afraid to ever call in and show his face. That's my read on the situation.
You son of a bitch!
Yeah. That's my take on it. More of your calls right now, ladies and gentlemen. Joining us on the Gustbuster Umbrella Hotline is a man where you decide if he's inside or outside.
Good morning, Jake.
He's inside. Hello, Kyle.
So I think that I have a theory about Patriots fan, the Six Rings guy. I think that there is some jealousy from Beast because little Joey was the pet of the program. And now this Patriots fan has sort of, in an odd way, kind of become the community's pet. Like, he obviously is yearning for love and attention. He's calling into a show. He's trying to overcome his anxiety and feel the sense of belonging that we all feel towards each other. I think that he's adorable, by the way. As much as I want to hate him, it's like I've never had a human pet before. So it's like kind of cool, and it's in a very odd way.
He doesn't seem like a bad guy. He just made a poor judgment on football team.
Yeah, I mean, as long as he can march his P's and Q's, and maybe we can even get him to switch allegiances down the line, I think that he might have some staying power if we can have some entertaining calls. It's interesting. The one name I haven't heard with regards to the Knicks, and I can imagine why we haven't heard it, but he's here in the city. Patino has been a pro coach before.
Yeah.
I know.
I don't think his style. No, Rick's what? I love Rick Pitino. He's done an amazing job at St. John's. I'm going to the Yankee game tonight. He's throwing out the first pitch I saw, so that's good for him. He's a big Yankees fan, but I don't see that as the answer here. He's very similar style-wise to Tibbs. Like that doesn't make sense.
Right. I know the reasons, but if you would think that he would at least be circulated in the rumors, right? And he's not.
Someone brought him up yesterday.
Did they really?
On the show. I kind of laughed at the suggestion. I mean, I like if Patino's 20 years younger, yeah, because then we'd be talking about him as like one of the best coaches in college. Could he go back to the NBA? But I just don't see it.
I'm just struggling to see who the high-profile guy that's going to get them over the hump is.
I don't think it's going to be a high-profile guy. I think it's going to be someone that might be a first-time coach that they think is ready for the job, and they think will take more input from the front office on lineups and different things they want to try. I think Tibbs, for as good of a coach as he was, we know he was stubborn and wanted to do it his way. And I think the front office feels this roster was better than how they played. And while they did reach the conference final, I don't agree with this. I'm just telling you what I think led to the decision. I think they're looking at it through the lens of, we think the starting five could be a lot better. They were the least efficient starting five. We think we could develop more of a bench if he actually played some of the guys we drafted, if he played Tyler Kolek more, if he played, Shamet more during the regular season. I think that's part of their decision here. I think it's just very risky. I think despite that maybe being fair criticisms, they were in the Eastern Conference Finals, 2 wins away from the finals. And if they didn't have a all-time historic choke in Game 1, is he fired if they win Game 7 2 nights ago? I don't think he gets fired. I don't think that happens if they're in the NBA Finals.
I mean, that's the project, right? Is to get Kolek to contribute 12 to 18 meaningful minutes per game. That's what they'd really be looking for, to take some of the load off Brunson. I was really heartened by AG's comments about Peanut Butter Taylor. I went out and bought the jersey this past week, and I was getting some guff from Curly in the Patreon about it, because he made the very salient point that you usually wouldn't want to buy a jersey unless someone's done something first. But I'm kind of betting on the genetics there. considering who his father was. Like at this point, like the way the league is now on a 5-year deal, by the time a player actually establishes himself, he could be out the door, with a big money deal, or, guys that are taken after the first round, it's a 4-year deal anyway. So at some level you have to take a risk. And I've been burned before. I got the kids Zach Wilson jerseys before. But I'm hopeful that that Peanut Butter will be the exception and will contribute here in year one.
I think he's going to be good. It feels like we're asking a lot for him to be like a huge contributor, but the way they're talking about him and the way that he's already basically been listed as like the starting tight end without saying it, maybe, and just the way Fields always goes after throwing to tight ends, maybe he can be a lot better than most of us think in year one.
Yeah, I mean, I was an ardent Colston Loveland fan and was hoping we might be able to go back 1 or 2 spots and grab him. But I don't think that he was going to give them what they wanted in the run game. I appreciate it, Jake. Thanks for your time.
Kyle, appreciate you. I don't know if the site I used to get Jets jerseys for $30 has Mason Taylor jerseys available, but I will check that for you and send you a link. Because if they do, for just $30, if Mason Taylor ends up sucking, you don't feel like you wasted $170 on a jersey. What does NFL Shop now charge for jerseys? It's ridiculous. And they're not even like stitched. They're like printed. Hey, shout out to John. He is in the ASMANIAC raffle for 10 with this monster $50 super chat.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Just reserved and paid for my 2 tickets for the Panthers game. John, I got the alert. You're in. Curious if I'm going to get field passes. You are in, John. You are one of the first 45 that booked their ticket. So I will make sure that we get you a field pass for you. And Edward, who you're bringing with? You're bringing to the game? I don't know if that's your son or whoever, but either way, right now, 25 people have bought tickets for our meetup so far for the Panthers game. The first 45 are guaranteed field passes. After that, I can't guarantee we're getting more from the Jets. We're going to try and get as many as possible, but we only got 45 initially. You have to June 13th to lock in your spot, but we already have 25 people, and I made the link yesterday, so spots are filling fast. As far as tailgating goes, tailgate will be available. We'll have information for people to get a tailgate ticket through Tailgate Joe at an ASMANIAC Shiner discount rate. So stay tuned for info on that when we get closer. As far as parking passes go, I will talk to the Jets and see if we have a deal on that. If not, you obviously can just buy them online. Roster Dread has gifted 1 channel membership. Boom. Rasta, your membership went to listener DP. JD writes in, Alan, odds you survived the show. It's a great question. I would say this. The odds are not in Alan's favor.
Alan, go fuck yourself.
Because I'm tired of Alan's smug commentary on the Knicks. You were for the Hawks. Go F yourself. See you later. On that note, let's get back to your calls. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. That's not Alan. Dre is on the line. Hello, Dre.
What's good, my brother? How you been?
I'm good. How are you?
I really don't know how to feel about this. Them firing Tibbs, that caught me as a shock. I had a real busy day, and then I come home, and then at the end of the day, it was like right before I went to for sleep, and I was like, oh my God, they fired Tibbs, and I was like, damn, what happened?
It's just disappointed, man. I truly hope that even the people who think he's like not the right guy, like you realize how dog shit this franchise was for the last 25 years, outside of a handful of years. How awful they were the 6 years prior to him showing up. They won 21 games the year before he showed up, and he took a team that was not any good, that no one had any expectations for, and they won 40-something games his first year. He was the coach of the year, and they made the playoffs, and they got better every year after that. Like, I just hope people realize how difficult that was to do that. If the Knicks actually got this right with moving on to a new coach who's going to get them over the top, that people realize that the foundation, the culture, it was all set by Thibodeau, who got them out of the abyss.
Mm-hmm. And then the thing is, it's like, who are we going to get to follow him? Like, who's going to be able to take that to the next step? It'd be one thing if it was like, oh, clear cut, this coach is the coach to do it. but it's like, I mean, it's basically like a crapshoot at this
This
point.
was the starting lineup. Tom Thibodeau's first game as the Knicks coach. Julius Randle, Reggie Bullock, Mitchell Robinson, R.J. Barrett, Elfrid Payton. They won 21 games the previous year. They won 41 games that first year.
Yep. I just became like I started celebrating the Knicks again because I had gone away from basketball. It was just too depressing. And then to see everything that's been coming along, the Jalen Brunson trade, all that stuff brought me back. But it's like just to see, especially on your Instagram feed when you were showing like being in the crowd, everything like that, seeing 7th Avenue shut down. We need to bottle that energy. We need to keep that energy in New York. New York is at its best when that energy is like permeating throughout the whole city. Like for baseball, we're good with the Mets and Yankees, both being good, both doing well. I think a Subway World Series would be just put New York back on top. But then we really need to extend it to the other sports. So can we be good somewhere else?
Yeah, I mean, I'm so angry about this Nick thing too, because it's like they were coming off this great year, and now it's like you just feel like you don't know if they're ever going to get back there unless they nail this hire. Like at the bare minimum, you knew Tom Thibodeau was good for getting the team to 50 wins and having a chance to at least compete next year for a title. Now, like maybe they strike gold with the next coach, but who's that coach going to be?
Well, at the very least, they didn't go the Jets route and fire the coach like 2-3 games in, and then definitely tank the whole season. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about this dude, 6 Rings. Like we can't be opening the show with fans from other franchises unless from the Patriots, because I think it's collectively, even Allen would agree, and that's saying something because Allen,
Allen's a Pats fan, man. He's sucking off Drake May in the comments all the time. He's a fraud. Excuse my language, but I can't stand him. He's a fraud.
And I'm watching him in the chat, and he is just hyping himself up. He is his own best friend. Like he probably had an imaginary friend named Allen talking, growing up as a kid.
Well, we've given him a social life. Like Allen should be kissing my feet every day. I mean, without me, what would he do all day? Like he has friends. He has, I'll use air quotes around friends, but he has people that he knows now, that he talks to, that he's wined and dined with, all because of me. And it's great. Without me, he'd have nothing. Think about that. Without this community, he'd have nothing. He'd be bored all day. It's not like he has kids or anything. Like he just sits around all day and comments on the chat.
Thank God. Because the last person in the world who needs to procreate, that is Allen. We don't need.
That's honestly, I give him credit. That's the one. You could say a lot of things about Allen, and I certainly have. Him not having kids is a wise decision, so I appreciate him for that.
Oh my God! But yeah, like this dude 6 Rings calling in, and he's a fake fan. If you're not gonna hump the jersey of the opposing quarterback, like what are you doing with yourself? Like, I mean, come on. Like Neil is a legend. Neil is just a straight legend. And Allen, you just shut up right now because you need to stop your nonsense. God, I can't.
He literally just wrote as you're talking here, like Drake May is a stud. It's just what we're talking about.
I can't deal with it. It's terrible. And his number one fan, Bang Mateo, he's worse because Bang Mateo he'll never call in. He want to talk all this smack about me, but he never calls in. And I swear to God, I'm telling you, let him come to a game, please. Just one time, I guarantee you he'll hide from me. Like
it's the same people that the guys who talk the most trash in the chat never actually call in. Larry Romano never calls in. Allen never calls in anymore. He's retired, whatever the hell that means.
Thank God. We don't
Bang
need to
Mateos
see anymore.
Bang has never once called in. I mean, it's how it goes. It's sad.
It's just garbage. At least, I give it to 6 Rings. At least he called in, but he can't be leading the show off anymore. It got to be Cal Clifton or that's our Lindor. Our Lindor.
I'm a man of integrity, though. I the people who call in I try to go first come first serve because someone's gonna wait on hold for a while. I want them to know that hey, if earlier you call in, the faster you'll get on.
Yeah, but you got to be a fan of the Jets, though. You got to be an Asmaniac.
I get it. Well, he might be to be fair to 6 Rings, his fandom I think is fraudulent, and I think he's a bandwagoner. And I've said this to his face. He has gifted memberships and sent in super. He sent in a $20 Canadian chat yesterday.
Oh, he's in Canada?
Yeah, that's the thing. He lives in Canada too, and picked the Pats. It's like, come on, dude. Like if he picked the Bills, I would say I hate the Bills, but at least I would understand it. Like the Bills play regular season games.
He doesn't get to claim. He doesn't get to claim an American team. He's CFL.
But he did send in a super chat for Charles Gorman to get like a housewarming item. So I can't say he might not be a bad guy, but he is a fraud fan. That's where I'm at with him.
Okay, so he contributed to the Squatty Potty.
No, he contributed to an item I have yet to purchase. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to get Chuck.
I think we gotta get him something Jets based because he's got. I mean, Big Fella hooked him up with that beautiful Batman, and I'm not a big fan of DC. It's Marvel all the way, but I gotta admit that Batman was the seriousness. Like I was like, "Ooh, that's a nice Batman." So, I had a comment about that because I watched that show and I was like yelling. I felt like I was the only person on Charles's side. So a floor towel, like that's what you'll get. Like if you go to like when you get to you check into the hotel room and they have the two towels and you take them and put them on the rack, and then there's that towel that they always hang on the lip of the bath. It's meant to be like kind of like it's just to you dry yourself in the towel, you step out so you don't get water all over the floor or anything like that.
That's it if you're in a hotel.
Mat is superior.
Right.
You get a bath mat, you throw the floor towel somewhere else. That's in case you want it.
That was the point. Else. It's like he's not staying in a hotel. He's living in his own apartment. He should have a bath mat, especially one that Big Fella got with the Batman logo.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Charles,
it's your first bat cave. Have the bat stuff available. But so I just well, at least Gorman is in his own house. Me and him don't get along, but that's a whole different story. That's fine. But I wish him well, and I'm glad to see that, he's growing. He's got his own place. He's going to get himself going right now. And I saw that comment about 28 TD Island. I'm still standing on residency. And let me tell you, if it takes...
Where are you right now? It looks like you have a great view of the city.
Oh, this is my view. When I come down to the city, this is the view from the living room.
I love it. Well, I'll tell you what, Trey, we need you to start calling in a lot more, all right? Like, we missed your presence on the show.
Well, I definitely will be doing that. Got a new job where I'm working remotely and stuff like that. So I'll be popping in every now and again. Maybe not quite as frequently, but I'll definitely be back without the headphones now because I'm downstairs in my beautiful basement, my home office, and things like that. So we'll definitely be adding to the wall. Right now, I've got one thing on my wall that kind of pops out from the graphic. But as soon as I get like some Jets stuff, Jets memorabilia, maybe a jersey or two, and I get this area more organized and things like that, maybe I can join the podcaster, level of having some decorations and things like that in the back. But we're growing slowly but surely. We're growing.
I love it. Trey, good to hear from you, man. Appreciate you.
All right, brother. Take care.
Dre, check it in. Great call from him. Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. If you missed the announcement at the start of the show, full-sized Broadway Joe helmet is what we're giving away. Look, enough said. It's Broadway Joe. One of the more expensive items we've raffled away, but we're starting June off with a bang. Because let's be real, if you're a Jet fan and you're tuned into this channel in June, I can't emphasize how much I appreciate you. And you're a diehard. Because let's be real, a lot of casuals aren't watching football content in June. This is my livelihood, man. I go live twice a day. I don't care. There's nothing to talk about. We'll find a way. So thank you to the diehards. Full-size Broadway Joe helmet, top prize. Clyde Frazier jersey, prize 2. Kevin Mawai Hall of Fame inscription jersey, prize 3. And a Bart Scott can't wait jersey, prize number 4. Shout out to Amir. He didn't write anything, but he used his AsManiac super chat to let us know he's been a member for 6 months. So I appreciate that a ton. Let's see. Alan writes in, 28 touchdown island, the dumbest take ever. People are confusing Dre's take. His take was not 28 touchdowns for Garrett. It was 28 passing touchdowns for Aaron Rodgers. He was right. He was spot on.
You son of a bitch!
Yeah! See? Spot on. Thunderlips says that Dre should go full Bobby Midnight and put 0 decorations on the wall. Bobby Midnight, for those who missed the show yesterday, we gave you the stats on the caller totals. Bobby Midnight only called 7 times in the month of May. The lowest output of calls for Robert Woodruff since he became a regular on the show. Crazy. Izzy's on the line. He's next. What's up, Izzy?
Yo, Jake, my brother, how you doing, man?
What's up, Izzy?
Same old stuff. Hey, listen, man. I know that Aaron Glenn's not Jeff Ulbrich, but he's got me bricked up, man. The way this man talks, I mean, just to hear like a real coach, he sounds like a real coach, man. He sounds like he wants to be here. He sounds like a real coach.
He does. I like him a lot. I don't want to get sucked in by press conferences, but like they're like he's someone that you really, obviously we're Jeff fans. We want whoever the coach is to be successful, but there's something different with like a guy who understands the organization. He wanted this job, called it his dream job, paid his dues. Like you just, if it can't work with Aaron Glenn, is anyone ever going to get this right here? Like that's kind of how it feels, right? So I'm just dying for him to be the guy.
Yeah, man, it's dope, man. I've every time he talks, I'm just like, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm sucked in, man. No Diddy. That's awesome, right? I love hearing him talk. I think the Jets are gonna do great, man. I mean, not great, but I think we could easily get to 10-7 if everything works out the way that it sounds like it's gonna work out.
Let's hope. I mean, it's not crazy. It feels unlikely, just given the history, but I mean, things happen in the NFL for other teams that aren't the Jets. Minnesota won 14 games last year.
I feel like it would be real Jet-like for us to come out and to have one of the better seasons we've had in the past 10 or so years, you know. So I don't know, man. I guess I'm just an crazy optimistic Jet fan, but I think that this it won't be a surprise if we sneak into the playoffs, you know. If everybody stays healthy and Breece Hall can get back to where he was as a rookie, I think Braylon Allen he's gonna run through people. We'll be a lot more efficient on third down, and I think passing, like you said, with Mason Taylor being out there, someone's gonna get open. And I think that hopefully the coaching staff we have can find out who's open and it doesn't take until week 8. Oh, also, this is comment on something that was said a couple of days ago. I think Bruce Lee would drag Batman up and down Gotham City, man. I think he would drag him. I'm a big Kung Fu fan, man. And Bruce Lee, man, that dude is Kung Fu. You know what I mean? I don't think he would stand a chance.
I mean, it's Batman.
But look, so Batman's whole thing is vengeance, right? His whole reason is his vengeance. You know, his parents died and he's just out for vengeance, it feels like. Bruce Lee is calm and one with himself, you know what I mean? And now you just can't beat that, man. He sleeps, eats, and breathes Kung Fu.
But Batman was trained by Ra's al Ghul.
I'm not even sure who that is.
Exactly. He's Batman.
Hey, look, Batman, no weapons. I think Bruce Lee's dragging him.
Izzy, I appreciate the call, man. Great takes. Yep. Some might agree with you, some might not, but I'll tell you what, you got the chat going, and that's what it's all about.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll holler, man.
Izzy checking in. Izzy becoming a regular. We love to see it. Dixon writes in, free Dixon. Well, I think you're free, Dixon, because you wrote free Dixon. So I don't know if you're imprisoned. I think you have been freed. Trey writes in, Bruce Lee would whip Batman's ass. Where's Charles Gorman? We need his take on this. Gary checks in, Bruce Lee dog walks Batman. If there's ever been a June Jets topic, it's definitely this one. More of your calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Nate on his bike is next. Hello, Nate.
Jake, morning. How we doing?
Hello, Nate. You got your wish, Nate.
What's that?
Your wish. I said you got your wish with Thibodeau.
Hey, listen, I told you at the beginning of that call, I was kind of playing devil's advocate, but I did want him to, to be willing to make adjustments. He just kind of was the stubborn coach that he is, which, I don't blame him for. Just, I think, like I said to you in that call, like if they didn't think he's a championship coach, then you got to make the move now, which they did. It'll be interesting if Dice Yashimoto will step up to. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think it'll be Dice, but he was talked about on Mixed Fans TV. Gary.
It could be a first timer though. Like I think Johnny Bryan has a great chance.
Oh yeah, definitely. The more I watched a lot of Johnny Bryan videos last night. He's awesome. There's definitely a reason why. But he would also he would be the polar opposite of Tibbs. Like, he's a completely offensive spacing type of coach, where Tibbs is, putting 90 of his marbles every practice into defense, which, again, I think it just doesn't make sense how he coaches. We get he's like a defensive coach, and that's pretty much all he cares about. But when you got two of the best offensive players in the league that don't care about defense on your team, it was, again, I think it was partially like Jalen Brunson, as you said. I didn't think it was going to happen because he's involved in everything that happens at MSG. He's part of the family. He's part of the mafia there now. So I think him, Leon, everyone somewhat played a part in this, even though this was a kind of a tough decision. But a lot of people, you've said it in the chat, you brought up all the examples of teams kind of doing this ahead of time. I do want to know from the people that wanted to keep Tibbs, like, what is the basketball argument side of it? Like, because I hear you say it, I think Big Fella called in earlier, Chef Kev called in earlier, and it's like, they're giving me the Joe Douglas argument of like, oh, if you look at the wins, his wins got better and he moved further. But it's like, okay, but clearly there's a reason they fired him, right? So what on the basketball court was he lacking that you think why they fired him? And everyone's just like, oh, it makes no sense. If the Jets won a game from the Super Bowl and we fired Aaron Glenn, it'd be the dumbest thing ever. But again, none of those are
different sport.
No, completely not.
Yeah, the basketball argument, I think, is the team continues to get better. That he has done a good job when you look at the players who have gotten better under his coaching.
But I dispute both of those. I heavily dispute both of those. Like,
yeah, I don't know how you could dispute like the several players you could list off that have improved. And plus, I just think like you see continuity with Rick Carlisle last year. This team got swept. They choked away game one of the Celtics series last year.
Right, but then you're not. You can say that, but then you're not giving credit. Like, the Knicks were down double digits in 75% of the playoff games they played in. Why? Why? That's an issue. Why were they down 20 to the Celtics twice? You could say they blew game one all you want, but then I can say the Celtics blew 2 games in that series. I could say the Pacers later blew a 20-point lead in that series as well. It's like, so why are they constantly in this predicament that they're down double digits in the playoffs?
Year, though. Like that.
No, not at all. But what on the what basketball argument are you giving me besides, again, like saying the players got better? One, I completely dispute that. Two, I think Leon Rose is the reason he got better. Like you said it. You said Elfrid Payton, and you brought up that whole like first-year lineup. Yeah, the reason why they went to the conference finals this year is because Elfrid Payton is not starting, and they improved that to be one of the best point guards in the league. And Jalen Brunson, they got him off when he was murdering Phoenix in that playoff series with Dallas.
Brunson was never this good until Thibodeau started coaching him.
Jake, I hate to break it to you. Brunson was this good. Thibodeau did not teach him how to play basketball. Okay,
no,
he
but
got
he
the exposure he needed.
Put him in an environment to have success.
Exactly, he got the minutes he did.
Same with DiVincenzo. Same with Emmanuel Quickly.
Right, so he wasn't behind Luka Doncic. That doesn't mean he was bad at basketball, and then Thibodeau taught him how to shoot.
Yeah, but
when Luka went out, he beat the Suns individually. Like, he had 2 40-point performances where he beat the Suns on the Mavericks. The whole league knew who Jalen Brunson was. I guess that casual Knicks fans didn't.
There's just a lot of examples of guys playing their best basketball.
Right, but what is Tibbs' offense, Jake? What type of offense does Tibbs run, in your opinion?
What type of offense do they run?
Yeah.
I don't know how you would describe the offense they run. I mean, they have.
Well, I'll describe it because I hate it, but it is what it is. He gives it to the best player and says, "Go," just like you do.
I don't think
just
that's
like
fair.
I'm telling you, watch Julius Randle. Julius Randle in his prime. Jalen Brunson this year and last year. It's give it to the best player. There's a lot of pick and roll. There's a lot. You can break it down, but when it comes down to the last 4 minutes, it's go.
That's the NBA.
Go.
That's the NBA.
Okay, so no, but why did the Pacers win? That's not the Pacers' offense. They put Jalen Brunson in 4 or 5 actions on defense every single possession. It was sideways dribble handoffs, double staggered screens, all over the place.
Nate, the personnel that Leon Rose brought in has 2 guys in the starting lineup that are not good defenders. Like, I don't get, like, you're asking.
I get that, which is why I'm saying it makes no sense. Right? Like, why
it's on the general manager then? It's not just on the head coach.
But the GM, but I guess in his eyes, the GM is putting together a roster that he thinks can win. Clearly, he thought that.
Correct.
You said
That's
it earlier.
The thought process. I disagree with it. I think that this head coach earned another year, and I think another year they could have made a lot of improvements in some of the stuff you're talking about. I think he earned another season with this group. They made the Towns trade on the eve of training camp.
Right, but you just said it, right? That he has 2 of the best offensive players in the game, right? And he completely, no matter what he's done in his whole career, invests all of his marbles into defense. That's what he preaches. That's what he coaches. That's what the team works on in practice, is defense. That doesn't make any sense when you can't guard on the other side of the floor. When it comes down to a playoff series, when you can't guard one-on-one and they're just hunting your 2 worst players, now you just wasted your whole regular season.
They beat the Celtics. Indiana might have just been better.
I don't. Indiana was not the better roster. You know that.
But
and the Celtics blew 2 games. That's not a basketball argument. Like, that's
okay.
sports.
So if the Knicks lost to the Celtics in 7, does Tom Thibodeau have a job right now?
Listen, I think this obviously was in the works before the Celtics series, before the playoffs. They wanted him out before this even started. This was in the works, and you know that because you talk to everyone in sports. Like, this was a rumor at the end of the regular season about Thibodeau not being the guy for this team.
If they lost to the Pistons and then got embarrassed by Boston, there was not the perception that he was going to be fired once they made the conference finals.
A lot of people thought. A lot of people, even if they lost to the Celtics, regardless, we know now it's a fact that they were talking about this in Madison Square Garden.
Right, but that doesn't mean it's the right move, Nate. I don't understand your point. I don't have to agree with it.
I'm just saying on a basketball level, why is it the right move on a basketball level?
On a basketball level, there are fair criticisms of the head coach. I think the culture that he sets, the fact that they won 50-plus games for the second year in a row, the first time they've done that from the 90s, I think the fact that this was his first year coaching this group, right, this starting 5 specifically, and they only had Mitchell Robinson for 17 games in the regular season, and we saw how impactful he was. They had the 3rd best defense in the NBA from when Mitchell Robinson returned to the rest of the season. I think if you gave him more time, the results could have been different next year. That's my point. I think it's a huge risk now to blow it up and bring in a new coach. If they get to the finals next year, I'd be happy to say I was wrong. Leon Rose made the right choice. I think they needed
Are you not acknowledging that it's a risk to keep him? Are you not acknowledging that it's a risk to keep him?
Right, but are you not acknowledging that it could be a bigger risk to get rid of him when you?
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, they're in a winning business. The bottom line is if they don't win a championship, this group failed. Right. All the trades and all of that failed. It didn't matter. They chose that. They wanted a different coach to go about that championship route.
I get,
and they had basketball reasons to do that.
Next year. Of course, they have basketball reasons to do it. They didn't
right. So I'm saying when you say they had 50 wins twice, that doesn't mean anything. If you walk into the owner's office and say we had 50 wins twice, I should keep my job.
It means you have a relatively high floor if you won back-to-back 50-plus games.
That's exactly, and that's what Thibodeau does. Thibodeau coaches to a high floor.
Right, but
he could go get hired by the Charlotte Hornets, and they could be a play-in team next year. That's what Thibodeau does.
But it's unfair to sit here and say that there's no way they could have been better next year.
I'm not saying no way. I'm not saying no way, but I'm saying he showed. But I'm saying there's zero evidence, Jake. I'm saying there's zero evidence of him changing and adapting to this league.
Leon Rose knows how to hire another coach that could take the Knicks, who have been dog shit for 25 years.
Wait, but he's 1-for-1 on coaches. But he's 1-for-1 on coach hires.
Okay,
he hired Thibodeau when he got here. So why not think he could be 2-for-2?
Because
he found the right for that roster with Elfrid Payton. He hired the right coach.
I think it's very risky. If you want to put all your blind faith in Leon Rose, that's fine. The Knicks fan has no choice but to hope he knows what he's doing. I think this was unnecessary, and if they did it a year from now, if they came up short, I would understand it more. But I think pulling the plug when you might have had the coach that could have got you there, I think is a mistake, because everyone said, oh, Dusty Baker can't win the big one either. Guess what? Eventually he did. Sometimes you just need a little more time, and he only had 1 year with this group, and the team got better this year than they have any other year. To me, the arrow was still pointed up. They had not plateaued necessarily yet.
Again, I guess we're kind of just speaking in generalization. Sure, if you can look at the wins all you want and players statistically getting better, but
and the results.
Right, the results, but there's a reason why Joe Douglas was here after year after he was 30 and 55, right?
Kenny Atkinson?
Kenny Atkinson's a great coach. Kenny Atkinson is a modern NBA coach.
His team
he coaches to what the NBA does today.
His team won 64 games in the regular season and got thumped by the Pacers.
And you know what a lot of folks are saying? Why they took that regular season jump? Who joined their staff this year? Who joined their staff from the Knicks staff?
You think Johnny Bryant is why they won 64 games?
I'm just saying their offense was potent. It was
great. Congratulations. You don't just win with offense. You got to be a complete team.
Of course not. But you don't just win with defense, and that's what we learned. That's literally what we just learned. So
but the Knicks offense wasn't bad. You're acting like their offense was 32nd in the league.
Jake, look at the difficulty of shots that the Knicks, when they scored, just look at the highlights. Look at the difficulty of shots every time the Knicks put it in the basket versus the ease of the Indiana Pacers. I'm talking right, left layup, left, right, catch and shoot, take a sip of tea, take a jump shot. The Indiana Pacers played easy basketball.
They were better.
It was the easiest shots.
They were better.
But that has to go. But you just said they're a potent offense, and I'm saying, but why are the Knicks getting such difficult shots? Why is it so hard to score?
Really good defense.
Why is it so hard to score then?
Nate, we're not going to give Indiana any credit for how they defended Jalen Brunson in Game 6 with the way Nembhard played.
Again, that's part of coaching, too. They blitzed every screen, and he's trying to dribble around 2 guys at half court. When we blitz Halliburton, he gives it right up and lets other guys play 5-on-4 and lets them make plays. That's part of coaching. All of this is coaching.
They held Halliburton to 7 shot attempts in a
Did you not hear what I just said? Did you not hear what I just said? They blitzed him at half court. Halliburton gave up the rock and let other people play. When they blitzed Brunson at half court, he tried to dribble around them, causing turnovers, with leading to layups the other way. Understand that. That's part of coaching. That's coaching.
Put some of this on the players instead of just blaming everything lazily.
Right, but if you know what's coming, okay, if they blitz you, like every time they had a pick and roll with Mikal Bridges, right? Mikal would just kind of ghost the screen, and then Brunson would actually give it up and let them play 5-on-4. It was amazing. But when it wasn't a Mikal screen, Brunson would try to work around the 2 guys, and you saw it in not game 7, but game 6.
Maybe we led to turnovers on the players, Nate. If you
all right, fine. So every time I bring up a basketball point, you can say it's on the players.
Right,
but I'm gonna say it's because
the head coach no credit. You act like Tom Thibodeau is Jeff Obrick. You give him 0 credit. That's the point. No one's saying he's the best basketball coach ever. There are fair criticisms of him. The point I'm trying to make to you is you're definitively saying they can't get better next year with him. I disagree. They've gotten better every year he's been the coach. They didn't fire Carlisle last year in Indiana when they got swept by the Celtics. They kept him, had continuity, and got better. You can make basketball points that they needed a new voice. That's fair. But you're not going to get me to sit here and think, it's definitely the right move. No, it might end up working out. They better get the hire right. Oh, Leon Rose is 1 for 1, Jake. Why don't you think he's going to do it again? Because you know how hard it is to get a coach that good and get it right? It doesn't just happen. The Knicks don't have this history of just being able to nail coaching hires. David Fizdale, Jeff Hornacek, Derek Fisher, Larry Brown. It's not that easy. They won 51 games. They were in the Eastern Conference Finals. They had a historic Game 1 collapse that required a lot of luck from Indiana to pull that off. If they lost in 7, we're still firing Thibodeau? There's basketball reasons that they might need a new voice. I would say, hey, before we make this drastic move that is incredibly risky, let's maybe wait 1 more year and hope that if we do what Indiana just did, maybe you work with Thibodeau on hiring someone that could be a quote-unquote offensive coordinator. I don't know what the detailed conversations were. Did they say, hey, we need you to do this? And he said, no way. And then they fired him? Maybe that would change my opinion. We don't have that info yet. But I think it is unfair to a guy that came here and got this franchise out of the depths of hell to then fire him when they made the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 years. I think that is incredibly unfair. Some of your basketball criticisms are fair, but you lose me when you try and argue that under Tom Thibodeau, players didn't get better. That's bullshit, and you know it. Look at the players that had career years under this coach. Going back to his first year when he took over a 21-win team and then won 40-plus games and made the playoffs. Julius Randle became a 3-time All-Star. Dante DiVincenzo, what did he do this year in Minnesota? How did he look last year? Josh Hart, what was he before he became a Knick? Isaiah Hartenstein, what was he before he became a Knick? Why did the Knicks get him for so cheap if he was all this great player, Nate? That he was one of the top free agents last year. Emmanuel Quickley, how'd you turn him into OG Anunoby? Oh, because he played really well? Deuce McBride. There are fair basketball criticisms of Thibodeau, but I think just pulling the plug, I think it's premature. It might work. You might be right. It's a good decision if they nail the coaching hire. But now if they hire Johnny Bryant, oh, you saw him do some press conferences and you think he's awesome. Great. Hopefully Leon Rose knows what he's doing. He knows it more than any of us. If that's who they end up hiring. But I think it's kind of crazy to bring in someone and say, hey, you're a first-time coach. Go get to the NBA Finals or it's a failed year. And that's now the expectation. I'm not telling you Tom Thibodeau is the best coach in the league, but you know everyone marvels at Eric Spoelstra, right? Eric Spoelstra lost by 35 and 37 at home in the playoffs this year with his Heat team. Sometimes you just need the players. I think Indiana was just better. I think the Knicks basically made these moves for Cat and Bridges and this starting 5 all under contract, looking at it like they had a multi-year run to build together. I don't think the Knicks thought they were going to get to the finals this year. It'd be nice. I think internally they realized they probably were a year away, that it was always going to be year 2 with this group. It's why I think despite all that, and then still getting to the conference finals, pulling the plug is premature. Can it work? There's examples of it working. There's also examples of it not working. And I think it's risky, especially when you're the Knicks. You've been a joke. Now you finally have stability. You have an identity. You have a culture. You have a floor of 50 wins. Your floor is 50 wins. Thibodeau had 17 games in the regular season of Mitchell Robinson. You don't think maybe if they had him next year and they had maybe Al Horford, the rumor to sign, or someone like that off the bench, that wouldn't be a good fit? There are basketball reasons to make this move. I'm not saying everything you're saying is wrong, Nate, but like when I push back and give you examples of like good coaching by Thibodeau, you say it doesn't matter. It does matter. Maybe they do need a new voice. I think it's incredibly risky. I think you give this head coach who resurrected your franchise out of the depths of hell one more year with this group that you put together on the eve of training camp. And then you go from there. You know what? Nate might be right because Bang Mateo agrees with me. So I take it all back. We're done here. Nate, you win. Bang Mateo's on my side. I don't want this. But I just think it's premature. I think it is a huge risk. It could work. I hope like hell it does. I hope they hire the next Joe Torre and Tibbs is Buck Showalter. I hope it does. I hope Tibbs is Mark Jackson to Steve Kerr or Dwayne Casey to Nick Nurse. But I think Indiana was the better team. I don't think it's all just coaching. I think I know I did, and I think a lot of Knicks fans did, underestimated Indiana. That while they were the same team a year ago, that I thought the Knicks were better if they just didn't have all the injuries. This year, they were better. Nate says, resurrected from the depths of hell. You sleep in such cliches. I mean, okay, how would you describe the Knicks the 6 years before Tom Thibodeau, Nate? Please. You lose an argument, and then you got to pick apart my analogies to describe how shitty the Knicks were. You want me to flat out say that? Is that better for you? Oh, look at me. I'm Nate. I'm riding my bike, and let me criticize the host for using analogies to describe how shit the Knicks were. You got it, Nate. The Knicks sucked. They won 21 games before Tom Thibodeau took over. He won Coach of the Year his first year. Then they proceeded over the course of 5 seasons to make the playoffs 4 times, the last 3 winning a playoff round, and this year winning 2 rounds and going to the conference finals and being one of the last 3 teams left in the NBA for the first time in 25 years. I don't know. I think the coach might have something to do with that. I don't think they just did that in spite of the coach. They were up 3-1 on the defending champion Celtics. And you want to say, oh, well, the Celtics blew those games? I mean, that was the Knicks' DNA this year. They had crazy comebacks all year, and they did it in the Pistons series as well. They were down double digits in game 1 of that series and went on a 21-0 run. That was the Knicks this year. Some years is like that. The cardiac Knicks. Like, every year could be different. The Jets won a lot of close games, too, in 2010, if you want to use the football example. Were they not good? I mean, you got to win games. Like, winning should matter. And I think I think you could have made the argument, you give this coach one more year with this group and see if they could take a step forward like Carlisle just did with the Pacers. The same thing. I'll be right back. I have to go ride my bike into a brick wall because I have a headache. Mets 2128. Oh, boy. Hello, Mets.
I'm going to be blunt. For me, this is a bittersweet moment. On the one hand, since 2022, I've been calling for the guy I've called a Tin Man to be sent to the junkyard. But on the other hand, I didn't want it to happen like this. I mean, my reason for wanting him gone, I mean, think about it. You play Josh Hart for 96 games out of 100 in the starting lineup when he's clearly not built as a stretch 4. He's built as a bench player. Instead of leaving Mitch on the bench, even when he got back from the injuries, to basically play second fiddle to Cat in the middle. That's
are you trying to argue that Mitchell Robinson is somehow a better player than Karl Anthony Towns?
At least on the defensive end.
Yeah.
Not the offensive.
Right. Which player was third team All-NBA this year?
Cat.
Which player averaged 22 and 14 in the playoffs?
Cat. But
So,
can I get
so what exactly is the criticism there? I'm just trying to follow.
overuse of Hart?
Fine. That is fair. I feel like Mitch should have played more than Josh Hart in the fourth quarter of that game 6. That to me is not a fireable offense for a guy who just won 51 games and had this team in the conference finals for the first time in 25 years.
And then, of course, the very counterproductive mentality of playing every regular season game like a postseason game 24/7. Long term, there's going to be consequences to that.
What were the consequences? Being the healthiest team left in the postseason?
Overtaxing the front 5.
They were healthy. How were they overtaxed?
You look at how we were playing. I mean, those 5 were playing anywhere from 37 to 45 minutes a game a night. It was frustrating for me.
But they were healthy. They were not injured. Did they collapse in game 1 because of Tom Thibodeau? Because they played their starters?
You need to get somebody out of there to pivot defensively to another piece instead of leaving the core 5 out there all the time. And the few times you did bring in Mitch and Deuce, it was only for like 2 very minimalistic bursts. And then the fact that the guy seldom, if ever, went to a 9 or 10-man rotation. I mean, for me, the fact that he barely used guys like Achua, Shamit, etc. for the bulk of the playoffs.
Do you think these guys are really good NBA players?
No, but I'm just saying they could be spark plugs in terms of giving the other guys he used constantly a little bit of a brief.
They beat the Celtics in 6 games, right? If your criticism for the Indiana series is he could have used his bench a little more, fine, that's fair. But then from game 3 on, he did use his bench.
But the fact that it took him that damn long to do it is what frustrates me.
But eventually, he did it. So that's a fireable offense in your eyes? Hey, if it is, I mean, the Knicks agree with you, Mets 2-1-2-8. I don't think that's a fireable offense. I think Tibbs could be too stubborn at times, but I'm also not going to sit here and act like he's not the best coach they've had in 25 years and probably deserved another year with this group that he's had 1 year to coach.
Again, I can also throw a good bit of the blame on Leon Rose. Mostly because I call the guy a spendthrift in the offseason, going out of his way to make essentially the same mistakes, even with positive effects, that Isaiah Thomas did. Wheeling and dealing draft capital in desperate get-rich-quick schemes. I mean, think of that.
So are you pro-firing Thibodeau or not? Because now you're criticizing Leon Rose.
I was pro, but I didn't want it to be done like this.
How did you want it to be done? What is it? What is the way to do it? They should have done it the second they got off the plane 2 days ago?
No, I would have wanted it to go at least another couple of years at best, and once the team started to go downhill...
Then what are you calling in? You're calling in talking about how it's the right move, and now you're backtracking saying you should get a couple more years.
I said I didn't want it to be this way.
When did you want it? Did you want it now? Did you want it at the end of next year if they don't make the finals? That's what we're asking you here.
I would have wanted it at least by the end of next if they didn't make the cut.
Then start the conversation saying that it's a mistake to fire him this soon then, not the other way around. You called in to argue with me. You're agreeing with me. They shouldn't have fired him. That he's not perfect, but he's a really good coach, and he probably deserved another year with this group. That has been my argument the last hour and 12 minutes. Mets 2-1-2-8.
All I'm saying is...
What are you saying? You're not saying anything. You're talking out of both sides of your mouth.
How about you quit cutting me off, you son of a bitch?
Yeah.
All I'm saying is this. As badly as I wanted that hunk of junk sent to the scrapyard.
You did it, though. You just said you wanted them for a couple more years.
I would have been more than willing to be patient to play the long con. But only under the condition he'd be willing to adapt and actually use the damn bench instead of leaving it to rust.
Did you want him gone after the season concluded? Yes or no?
Yes and no.
That's not the answer. It can't be yes and no. It's either yes or no. It can't be both.
Okay. Then the answer is yes, but only if it wants.
No. It's yes or no. Yes or no.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, he has finally given us an answer. Mets 2128. What a moment. Yes or no? I mean, it was a very easy question. He calls in to argue with me, and then ended up making my point for me. And then, I don't know. Shout out to Nate. I took his bait. He got exactly what he wanted from me, to be scream and yell. So you're welcome, Nate. Batty Boy says, could Dan Hurley or Jay Wright get us over the hump? No. First off, Jay Wright doesn't want to coach again. He's being paid millions to be a consultant and public speaker and work for CBS. He's very happy. Seth Davis, who works with him on CBS, says, I have a better chance of getting the Knicks head coaching job than Jay Wright does. And Dan Hurley, I mean, people think Thibodeau is too stubborn and high-strung. Have you watched how Dan Hurley conducts himself? He's a great coach. He's the best coach in college sports right now. I don't think it makes sense. It's too big of a risk. The Knicks' next coach needs to be a coach who could get them to win an NBA championship. Hiring a coach in college who's never coached in the NBA before feels like a huge risk. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now on the Gus Buster Umbrella Hotline is none other than
that guy was a psychopath. I swear, if I took a chair, if I had a chair on me, I would have took 10 chair shots to that guy's brain. 1, 2, 3, and then maybe 7 more. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 1 more for the beauty. 10.
Wow!
Right across the damn brains. He would have been like, "Where am I?" Right here, son. Again. 1 more.
Hey, let me bring on my boxing analyst to make sure. Hey, Beast, hold on. Let me bring on my boxing analyst. Make sure those punches are proper form here. Let's say hello to Gary. Gary, what do you make of that form?
Let me see again. No, you gotta throw straight. I mean, straight, and turn him over. Turn him over. You generate so much more torque when you turn him over. Straight. You want to keep him all the way at the end of your punches. Straight and turn him
Jake,
over.
don't ever bring that guy on ever again. I would have punched him in the face 3 or 4 times, and he would have been on his face crying, I don't like you. Yeah, well, I got something for you. Yeah, how about this?
I can't see you, Beast. Turn the lights on. It's too dark.
Hold it. Watch. It would have been one of these. Chill.
Gary, thoughts?
I know that I know he's dropping that right hand. If I'm working the other corner, once he clears his hip to throw that kick, just beat him with a hook, short hook, right to his temple, right to his ear. He drops his hand every single time he throws that. Once you see him clear his hips, ready to kick, get inside, short hook, hit him right inside the head. He's got to be quick though. You got to get in and out on him.
Well, I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take it a little.
You're wide open to be countered, and then it's just the same thing. It's the same thing.
Beast, take the coaching here. Gary knows what he's talking about.
Oh, I'll take every bit I can get. He's lucky he didn't see my face, because he would have been.
See, look, his head's by his waist. You got to keep that hand on the phone. Stay on the phone. Look, every time he throws the left hand, his right hand's by his waist. Every time.
That's a good point.
Well, this is the cemetery, and this is the Undertaker. It's called pick your poison.
Yeah, well, that's on your hip. So that's easy money for my guy.
I'm lucky I didn't want to kill that. If I wanted to kill that guy, I would have loved to have killed him, but I'm not going to, because I'd be in jail. That's a very not so smart of him.
But don't worry though. Now, Inoue, who's the best fighter in the world, has the same exact habit, and that's why he got knocked down in his last fight. It's a bad habit. It can be broken,
Who are you referring to?
If I'm fighting you, I'm just waiting for you to do that, and I'm just going to time it. You're not getting away with that for 12 rounds. Like, you're going to get knocked out if you do that.
Peter Castro says, yesterday dying, today all better. Beast, you had a remarkable recovery. It's a good point by Castro.
Well, I'm going to be going to the doctors on Friday. I'm going to have something checked.
Yeah, but what is that? But you haven't received any medical suggestions to this point. So how are you
I'm going to have it checked. I'm going to have the doctors do all the checking. I'm going to sit there, let the doctors do the work, and just be like, all right, okay, all right. Just listen to what they have to say, get the paperwork, and then I'm on my way. Now let's go to the next caller because I don't feel like I want to kill anybody today, and I gotta take care of this.
Could you kill anyone from the attic? I guess that's the question.
The answer is no. Too dangerous. Too dangerous. No deal, no chance. Oh, and you got a birthday list sent to you. I sent you the birthday list.
Oh, can we talk about it on the show?
Nah, I don't think so. I'd rather do that. But until, as they say on Batman, until next time, same bat time, same bat.
Well, hold on 1 second. Here's what I'll do. I'll put a setting on where it's just you and I talking. All right.
See.
All right, hold on. Stand by. Let me get this setting put on, and Beast and I will go over the little Joey birthday list. All right, Beast, it's just you and I now. Let's break it down here. So you sent me this note. Actually, hold on.
Yeah, that's correct.
Let me get the note ready to go here. All right, I got it. Here we go. Let's break it down here. The birthday lineup of people that are welcome to Little Joey's party. So we'll break this down together. We'll go through each selection and why you came up with it. Sound good?
Fair.
All right. So here's who was invited. Mr. Bonesy, myself, my brother, Dave Briga, Rick Kent, Purple Belt Mike, Thunderlips, Neil, Big Fella, he's listed as your therapist here, Pagan Artie, Gator, Boomtown, Frank P, Bino, Rich, King Lowski, and Charles. Here are the people who are not invited. Mr. Beasley's lawyer, a.k.a. Fraud. Alan, a.k.a. Fraud. Best decision you could have made. Bang Mateo, another wise one. Joshua R.A., agreed. I don't know who Frankie Wekzera is. Who's
That's one of his goons.
Okay, one of his goons.
Keep on rolling.
Okay. Israel, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Another one of his goons. Keep him rolling. And the final one of the final.
And Bobby Beasley, permanently banned.
Finally, that now adjourned.
Okay. Now, was there anyone on the fence that you think maybe you should reconsider?
No, not at all. Not at all. Now, I'm going to go get ready for the next big thing called lunch.
What's for lunch today?
Well, I'm thinking maybe I go with a chicken sandwich today. Chicken. Some.
Well,
There's some
Beast, you
chicken.
have a great meal, okay?
Hey, as they say on the as Bob Burger once said, help control the pet population. Have your pets sprayed or neutered. Goodbye, everybody.
Rejected.
All right, we'll see you.
Sorry.
All right, folks, we're back to our normal show. Let's say hello to Gary again. Gary, are you disappointed to not be invited to the birthday party?
No, I'll be okay. I'm not a big birthday party kind of guy. I kind of think like birthday parties are for women and children. Like if you're a grown man, it's my birthday. I'm 43. I'm 37. It's
Well,
like,
to be fair, the birthday party is not for Beast. It's for little Joey.
Okay, I missed something then. Birthday party for your gerbil. Yeah, I'm more okay with that. I'm okay.
Guinea pig.
I'm not sad I'm not invited, but I'm more okay with him having a birthday party for his gerbil or guinea pig, whatever. I don't want to offend him. It's a guinea pig, right?
Guinea pig, correct.
I don't know what the hell the difference between a guinea pig and a gerbil is, but it's a guinea pig.
I'm not the qualified to really ask.
Yeah. Has my wife ever thrown me a surprise party? No, I'm not. I don't. No, I wouldn't like that, and she's never done that. I don't throw me a surprise party.
When was the last birthday party you had for yourself?
My wife kind of threw like a little gathering for me for my 30th birthday. Like she had people over, so 11, almost 12 years ago.
It was a dinner party, or what was it?
Yeah, it's just the in-laws and some of my friends and stuff. It was small, but I don't like parties. I don't like celebrating me. I don't like birthdays. Like I never had birthday parties as a kid ever.
Now Nate says that you had 14 women over to clean your house and cook on your birthday. Is this true?
No, that's good, Nate. But no, is Nate still on hold?
No, he's not.
Because I wanted to actually ask you about that because I thought blitzing Halliburton was the right decision. It just didn't work. Just because it didn't work doesn't mean it wasn't the right decision. Like,
I mean, they dominated Game 5
on the chessboard.
Like
it's going to work.
Game 5 happened in that series. They dominated. They dominated the second half of Game 1 until the last 2 minutes and 51 seconds when a historic implosion or comeback, however you want to describe it, occurred. Like Indiana was better in Game 2. They were better in Game 4. They were better in Game 6. I'd love to have known what would have happened if the Knicks actually won Game 1 like they were supposed to, and what would have happened in Game 7.
Just like two things. The record the last 5 years with Tibbs is 226 and 164. The record the 5 years before that was 130 and 264. So they're 100 games better. That's 20 games per year better with Tibbs before he got there. Like, I mean, look, I'm not a Knicks fan. I don't care if they fire him or not. I don't follow the Knicks that close. I mean, they maybe going to bring Mike Malone in. That's a conversation. Mike Malone won a championship with a team whose best guard is defensive liability and big man is really slow. So he won a championship with that team.
Nuggets fans also wanted them fired 2 years before they won that championship. They had a petition online saying fire Mike Malone. Fans always want the coach fired. I think it's lazy.
Their two best players are defensive liabilities, and their center is really slow, and their guard can't keep his feet in front of people. And they won a championship. I'm not comparing those two guys to Joker and Murray, but what I'm saying is there's a parallel there. So if they hired Malone, I'm not saying I would do it. I'm saying I understand why they did it. I'm a loyalty guy. This guy turned my franchise around. I'm going to let him see it through for at least one more year.
I think one more year is fair. I'm not like I have criticisms of Thibodeau. I just didn't think it warranted him being fired. I just feel like it's like you could sell me on it being the right move. My belief is it's too big of a risk to make right now. I think the practical approach in an East that's going to be wide open next year is give this coach one more year with this group and see if continuity is the move before making a change that maybe works or it could set you back. We've seen this blow up in franchises' face when they get rid of the coach. And it turns out the coach is the big reason why the franchise was successful in the first place. They never replicated with someone else.
The Nets did this with Byron Scott, and they hired Lawrence Frank. And everyone said, oh, well, look, Lawrence Frank was a better coach. They got to the finals 2 years in a row with Byron Scott and have not gotten out of the second round since 20-something years later. Like, how did it work? Like, it didn't work. Like, I mean, you can say what you want about Byron Scott's in-game adjustments and his offense running, a Princeton offense, outdated offense, basic offense that didn't work in the half court. But it got them to the finals twice, and they haven't been out of the second round in the 20-something years since. So maybe firing Scott at that time wasn't the right call. I mean, I understand Nate's concern, but you have Jalen Brunson. What do you want to? What kind of offense do you want to run? You're going to run a ISO heavy offense. Yeah, they ran Cat out of the post and things like that more than Flip Saunders did in Minnesota. But you have one of the best ISO one-on-one players in the league, top 3 or 4 or 5 ISO player in the whole league, who's ball dominant. What kind of offense do you want? You want to run a motion offense like the Nets? We just pass the ball around so they get an open shot. It's like you have Brunson. What kind of offense do you want to run? Like I know that's not.
It was an offense that was good enough to beat the defending champions in 6 games, and it was good enough to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. It's like, the Knicks roster. I mean, 2 of your 5 best players are not good defensive players. Like that's just the reality. Like I think you're asking like, oh, the defense wasn't as good. It's like, I mean, you didn't have the personnel to be a great defensive team. At times they were decent defensively when they got Mitchell Robinson out there. And who knows, maybe if he's out there for a full year now and they have another year of playing together, they actually have Hart come off the bench and they have a new starting 5. They would be a better team next year if they added a bench piece. They got a real backup point guard that's not campaign. You'd be able to have a more efficient offense and have Towns dominate those minutes. Brunson's on the bench resting. I think it's risky. I'm not saying it like there's not basketball reasons to think that maybe you plateaued. I just think you give him one more year with this group before you yank the plug. I mean, what more could he have done? They went to the conference finals.
I tend to agree with it. I wouldn't have fired him, not at this point. And Nate's saying that the offense they ran with Derrick Rose didn't work either. Yeah, because they kept running into Bron and Wade. It's understood. Like, and this is the problem with firing them, where it's just like championship or you're fired. Like, to me, if you like the Celtics, they hung around, they kept their two players together, they finally got the right pieces and won a championship. It is extremely difficult to win a championship. Are the Knicks ever going to win a championship? I don't know, but I know the best chance you have is to consistently be good, hang around while you still have prime Brunson and prime Cat, and hope that one year you get over the top. Are you guaranteed to get over the top? No. Joker's one of the 5 best players you've ever seen with your own eyes. He's got 1 ring. The Celtics were one of the best formed teams you'd ever seen. They got 1 ring, and now they got to tear it down. Denver's got to tear it down. It is extremely difficult to win a championship. A lot of things got to line up, and like your best option to me is to hang around the top until everything lines up for you, right? Like I Nate's gonna say I don't think Thibodeau is the guy that can get you over the top. And then Nets fans said the same thing about Scott, and they haven't been out of the second round of the playoffs in 20-something years since, right? Like, I don't know.
Eagles fans said that.
Close. I'm right here.
Eagles fans said that about Andy Reid.
And then he's won 3 Super Bowls since.
I mean, Dusty Baker. I was in Houston when Dusty Baker took over the Astros after the cheating scandal. They won the World Series in 2022. Like,
Nate, what kind of offense do you want to run, though? Like, knowing that you have Jalen Brunson, what kind of offense do you want to run? You're going to run pick and rolls with Cat. You're going to run a heavy ISO offense with some post-ups for Cat. Like, this is what, like, I mean, Nate's way smarter than me. Way smarter than me. So I'm open. I want to hear. I really want to hear what you want, what your solution would have been. You're way smarter than me. I grant you that. So, like, what kind of offense would you have ran? Knowing that Brunson is, I don't want to say you're going to live and die with Brunson, but yeah, in the final 4 minutes of the game, Brunson's going to play ice ball because he's unstoppable. He gets the ball in the paint. It's 2 points.
And
so
it works.
Knowing that,
it works. He was the clutch player of the year. There was no one that was better in late and close in the league than him. Like, it's
but
just,
Nate agrees with that. Nate agrees with on how unstoppable of an offensive player Brunson is. So I don't like. It didn't work. I understand that they lost to Indiana. I said it was stylistically a really bad matchup for him.
It was. Indiana's a lot better than people realize, and I think a year from now, that doesn't mean the Knicks couldn't close the gap.
And then also Beastbreaker, keep your hand on the phone, stay on the phone. That's just drill. You just gotta drill that.
Beast, I thought you were eating chicken. You're still here.
I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it to defrost. You gotta give it at least 10, 15 more minutes. Once it's defrost, I'm gonna eat it nice and crispy. You gotta remember, take it out first. Let that defrost. Once it's defrost, then you go. But I'm not
I used to have a coach who'd walk around with a towel, and every time I drop my hand like that, he whipped me with the towel. So it just becomes a habit. Just keep your hands up because you don't want to get whipped with the towel.
Do you think Beastbreaker makes tasty chicken?
Fat kids don't fail cooking, Jake.
Well, Jets Johnny says, I'm never taking advice from this
I'm
coward.
I'm not eating his chicken. I'm just saying fat kids don't fail cooking. They didn't get fat for no reason.
Are you calling Beast fat?
I'm just making a comment. You can take
That's
it.
That's not nice. How dare you call him fat?
He's we're men here, right?
This is why you
gotta
invited.
hear the truth sometimes.
Hold on. This is why you weren't invited to Little Joey's birthday party.
I can live with that. I can live with not being invited to Little Joey's birthday party.
Bad move.
Pacquiao also had a habit where before he started his offense, he tapped his gloves together. Just touch him.
Guess who was invited to
defense, right? Just touch him.
Pacquiao invited to Little Joey's birthday party.
Not me. I think we're good.
All right. Well, I think we
I
covered
really
a lot of
wanted to
ground.
have that conversation with Nate, but I guess he's not there anymore.
We'll do it on the Gary and Nate show. All right.
All right.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah. Thank you, Gary. Great call. All right, a couple calls left. We're at 2 hours here. Trying to limit the shows to about 2 hours here. Hit the like button if you haven't. A couple super chats I need to get caught up on. Aaron, I apologize. You sent this earlier. Got sandwiched in the madness on the show earlier. Appreciate your super chat. What are my thoughts on Kidd or Udoka? Interested in the Knicks? Yeah, Mark Stein had this. I don't think the Mavs are letting Kidd out of his deal. Kidd is the type of coach I'd want, though. He has experience. He's worked with stars before. It's funny. I thought Kidd was so bad when he was in Brooklyn, but he's actually turned out to be, I think, a pretty good coach. They went to the finals last year in Dallas. I think he's a good coach. Ime Udoka, I mean, I was in Houston when still doing daily radio when he was hired. He is one of the best 5 coaches in the league. I don't know why Tillman Fertitta would let him out of his contract, though. He's a billionaire. If you could get Ime Udoka, you hire him in a second. I mean, Celtics fans will tell you how great of a coach he was. He obviously got fired for reasons that had nothing to do with basketball. He got into an affair with a Celtics employee and led to a mess. Udoka's phenomenal. Look what he's done with the Rockets. They were the 2 seed this year. You know how bad when I left Houston, the Rockets are the worst team in basketball. They sucked. And he's taken that team in 2 years. And last year they were significantly better. This year they were the 2 seed. Young players developed, got better. He is a really, really good basketball coach. If you told me the Knicks moved on from Thibodeau and got Udoka, great. I will be ecstatic. And I want to keep Tibbs, obviously. I don't think it's realistic. I mean, you would have to trade for him, and I don't think Houston's letting him out of his deal. Dre writes in, Gary, how much for a 30-minute boxing lesson? Gary, real quick, how much you charging to box with Dre?
If it's just a one-off, if in New York you want me to train you, I wouldn't charge you for that. If you want me to work with you weekly, we could work something out. But like if you just want like a one-time lesson, I'm not gonna charge Dre.
What if we do it live on the show?
I'm not charging him.
Can we do it virtually? Can we do it virtually? Can we do a live boxing lesson on the air?
We could. I feel like it won't be as good because I can't be like. No,
that's right, but
it's free. But on with them. I can't.
It's a free tutorial. We'll do how about we do like a hybrid? We'll do like a 10-minute, 10, 15-minute boxing lesson. Dre calls in from a gym. He puts the phone up, so we can see the boxing pad he's hitting. That'd be great. The punching bag.
I'd be happy to help any way I can. Ask Dre.
Okay, Dre, if you're down, we'll make it happen. He also has a question. He says, "What about when you turn 50? Are you going to do any celebration?"
I don't like parties. I really don't like surprise parties.
How old are you? 41?
Yeah, be 40. Yeah, 41. Be 42 on August 31st. The same birthday as Sauce Gardner and Jalen Brunson.
We got some time.
Yeah, I'm 41. Yeah.
Right.
I don't do birthdays. I never had a birthday party as a kid. I don't like birthday parties. Don't get me anything for my birthday. I don't do birthdays. The only one I celebrated was 16 because I get my license, and then 21 for other reasons.
What about a vacuum?
My wife's got one. She's got 2 now. We're good. We're good on vacuums.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Gary, thank you for the time.
All right. Thank you.
There you go. Don't move.
Oh, shit. You're not kidding.
All right. Home stretch here. We are nearing the end. The drops I have at my disposal now, just all time. All taking place within like the last week. Thunderlip says he blocked me and I'm invited. Come on. Is this true? So Thunderlip was invited to the Lou Joey birthday spectacular, but he's blocked on YouTube by Beast. It had to have been an accident, Thunderlips. We'll get you unblocked. Am I confident in that? No. But I'm glad you were invited to the party. Little Joey's birthday spectacular. I have the date in my notes here. It is June 12th. Very important date. Get ready. Adam and Philly are the last 2 callers. Actually, you know what? I lied. I forgot Devin's on the line. So Devin, Adam, and Philly are our last 3. What's up, Devin?
What's up, Jake? Oh, can you hear me?
Devin? Yes, sir.
Hey, man. Just finishing up my walk here, my little lunch walk. Man, I don't understand fans sometimes, bro. But first, I'm going to step from my Jets sake. I like what I'm hearing from training camp. I really appreciate what I'm hearing from reporters. And I feel like, we got big things in store. Like, I'm going to be right on my prediction. But I'm really calm because I just need to vent, Bro, I'm 52 years old, bro. I've been a Knicks fan. It's the only basketball team that I have ever loved my entire childhood, adult life. And when I heard about Tibbs getting fired yesterday, what hit me in my heart was Van Gundy. I felt like when we fired Van Gundy, although that felt like it was a little bit more justified, he was kind of like tailing off. But man, people don't understand how hard it is to be successful. 25 years since you've been in the finals. 25 years since you've been in the conference finals. It's a long time, man. It's a long time. I'm really disappointed with this Tibbs firing. I really hope that they fucking find somebody to. They better get it right. This is like, I feel like how you told me about Aaron Glenn. He better be the right one. You know what I'm saying? He better be the right one because I don't know who the hell they gonna get to come in here and you don't just, dude, 50 games, winning 50 games. The Knicks been shit for fucking ever. You know, I tuned out of basketball. I love the Knicks. The Knicks are they're the team I love the most out of all New York sports teams. The one I love the fucking most. And bro, I'm about to walk in my office, so I gotta calm my ass down. But it's just, I just can't handle this, man. This shit is crazy, bro. This shit is crazy, man. It's like, how the hell you gonna get rid of the coach that brings you to the conference finals? I don't understand that shit, man. Like, conference finals, bro. Like, it's not like he made it in the first round and they lost. All right, cool. I get it. You want to reset. Every year we progress. All the points you made, I'm not gonna rehash them because you've made them already, man. But like, this is some real bullshit, bro. This is some real. Do we really think we could just find a coach to come in? And the other thing that people haven't really talked about, like when we got Cat at the beginning of the season, like why did he want to come here? Because he knew who the fucking coach was. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Brunson was here, but he knew who the coach was. He knew we had a good team because we had a good foundation in our coaching. And now we just pissed the shit away. Like this is beyond maddening for me, bro. Like I'm like, y'all lost me on this one, man. Y'all lost me on this one, bro. Like I'm gonna have to see it first. I stepped away for a little bit. Sorry about that.
Rejected. Sorry.
David, appreciate the call, man. We were losing you with the connection, but no, I feel your pain, and you know this is worse than like the Jets, right? From this standpoint, the Knicks are actually really good. They were one of the 3 best teams in the NBA, and this is such a big risk. Like the Jets, I wanted someone when the Jets had their coaching search, I wanted an experienced coach who's done it before. When the Knicks were going through their hiring process, guess who I wanted? Tom Thibodeau, an experienced coach who's been proven to win in the league and gets the most out of his players. Like honestly, the Jets could use like a Tom Thibodeau to get them back on track. Maybe Glenn's that guy. We don't know. He's never done it before. And that's the problem now with the Knicks. If they hire someone who's never been a coach before, there's examples of it working. It's hard in New York, man. It's really hard, especially with the Knicks and this fan base. You saw how this fan base acts, the first real modicum of success people have seen. It's the biggest city in the world and the only team that has about 95% all pulling in the same direction. Maybe the Jets should hire Tom Thibodeau. Bring him in. Why not? Green Gang, let me tell you about Green Gang, all right? So Green Gang won the Clyde Frazier jersey. He's not a Knicks fan, though. He's a Nuggets fan. Diehard Jet fan. I think he's a Yankees fan, but he's not a Knicks fan. So he says, why don't you send the Clyde Frazier jersey to someone else? So I'm not telling you guys when, but we're going to be doing a daily raffle prize that's going to feature the Walt Clyde Frazier jersey. So stay tuned for that. All right, be on your toes. But I said, Green Gang, that's an incredible gesture. And he was like, hey, if you send me some merch, like that's totally fine. I go, merch? You kidding me? You won a Walt Clyde Frazier jersey that's worth hundreds of dollars. So to make it up to Green Gang, we're sending him a signed CJ Mosley jersey. So Green Gang is the man, and he's allowing us to basically take this Clyde Frazier jersey and someone else will win it. That's actually a Knicks fan. So give some love to Green Gang. He's in our upcoming raffle that features a Bart Scott signed jersey, a Kevin Mawai signed jersey, another Walt Frazier jersey, and a full-size Broadway Joe helmet. He's in for 5. And the following 5 people received channel memberships. And Green Gang, when I get done with the show, I'm off to the post office to send you your CJ Mosley jersey and some AsMANIACS swag with it. Sean and Say Augustine, Justin, Savage, British Jet, and Shim Shack collectibles in the Asmaniac raffle. All right. Oh, hold on. Felix Campos in the raffle for 5.
We are mama way.
HCO, Aaron Cooper, Sweet Baby Jesus, John Jack, and JT all receiving channel memberships from the Felix Campos. All right, home stretch. Adam is too cool. Adam, you're a Celtics guy. Can you validate my take on Ime Udoka being an amazing coach?
Oh, he's awesome, and now that there's been some distance from the controversy, I think, yeah, trade for him if you can. But you know what? There's another Boston coaching tree person that is on the list that I think is definitely viable, Sam Cassell. And honestly, if you're an assistant coach for Celtics, this is a good opportunity to hop off. And I think Sam Cassell could absolutely handle the pressure in New York because there is no greater pressure than in Boston. So
Cassell's a name to watch. I agree with you.
And the coaching tree from Brad Stevens is proven. It's a really good coaching tree when it's all said and done. So
I'd hire Brad Stevens if you would be willing to leave the Celtics front office.
Yeah, I think he's got an interesting challenge on his hand, but I don't think he's ever going to go back into coaching. But anyway, I was thinking about the timing of the firing, and then I was thinking, well, if let's just say they had it out for Tibbs, why did they just fire him mid-season if they didn't like him? I mean, they could have said we were not happy with his performance against the top teams in the regular season.
That's tough to do because you saw what happens when they fired Robert Saleh in the middle of a season. That's your team. I mean, could react incredibly. How do you think Jalen Brunson would have reacted if they fired Tom Thibodeau in the middle of the year? You couldn't do it.
I know, but it was already done by multiple teams, other teams, and we were like, I was thinking like, this is crazy. How do you fire a coach like a couple weeks from the postseason?
Those teams didn't make it to the conference finals, and also like, who are you promoting to be the head coach? Then you're going to hire Rick Brunson's the interim head coach.
What if he becomes the actual head coach? That's another story.
Then I think that's crazy. But like my point is, like, you couldn't do it in season. Like, you had to give Thibodeau a chance with this team.
Not all teams felt that way though, and they showed that in their actions. But
those teams didn't do as well as the Knicks. That's my point.
Yeah. Well, wasn't Denver the 3 seed?
I don't know where they finished, and they obviously won a playoff round. But I mean, ultimately, like, they also fired their GM as well. Like, they had a power,
they definitely
power battle that blew up in their face.
But I thought it was just interesting. So then I thought this was the question I would ask. This might have just blown up in Leon Rose and Dolan's face that they didn't realize that the team was going to outperform in the playoffs. And now they've got a really, angry fan base over what went down. And I think that's really unfortunate. And you don't know what you're going to do. So yeah, to your point, they better really nail the next coaching hire. And the pressure is really on for them to be a better team next year.
If they don't make the NBA finals next year, it's a failed season like that. And I obviously, barring, catastrophic injuries that impact, the projection of the team. But like, the expectation for the Knicks next year is anything short of reaching now the NBA finals is not a good season. That's crazy considering what this team was 5 years ago when they won 21 games and Thibodeau took over that. But it's because he raised the standard to that. They got better every year. They built to this.
Yeah, but in the end, did they win in spite of the coach? People have various opinions on that. Did the Celtics beat themselves and were hobbled? I still think in the end, when you look at the nature of the comebacks, the Knicks played better. They were the hungrier team. They were doing the clutchier things. And, yes, the Celtics had a deeper roster, but I think New York earned every bit of that series win. So props to them.
Winning has to matter, man. Like, obviously, like, they're like, yeah, sure. Boston, of course, plays a part when they blow a lead like that. But like, now we're going to nitpick how they're winning the games. Like, it just, there are basketball criticisms of Tom Thibodeau that I've made on the show and I think are fair. But at the end of the day, you're 2 wins away from going to the finals. Like, and this was year 1 of this group. So I'd argue continuity is the right path. They obviously think they need a new voice. I hope they're right because I'm a Knicks fan, but I think it's very risky.
Well, now I wonder. Now you got to wonder. I don't want to make you more paranoid and worked up, but like, what if this is not the only change? What if there is a roster change? What if they are going to break some more things up?
Well,
this
they better
is just
be
the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, look, if they do that, I want to see what they do before I cast judgment. Like, if you tell me they got Giannis, great, break up the roster.
That wouldn't shock me. Like, what if that happens? Then all of a sudden, this changes the whole trajectory of.
Well, I
where
feel a
things could
lot
be
better
going.
about their chances next year if you tell me they have Giannis on this roster with Brunson and whichever players they don't trade. I don't think it's happening though.
They should go all in. I mean, it'd be hilarious if they made a trade with the Celtics for Drew or Porzingis to build out their bench a little more.
But it's not up to them with Giannis though. Like there's other teams that can make better offers than what the Knicks could present.
Yeah. So hey, we'll see what happens there. But I just thought that the timing of the firing now is like, what were you? If you didn't want Tibbs to begin with, then that's an interesting case study as to what do you do? Do you do it in the middle of the season, or do you just? And then what do you do if he does overachieve? And now you've got a more awkward situation with the fan base.
I'll tell you what, I believe in achievement. Tom Thibodeau believes in achievement, and Dave Briga believes in achievement.
He's Tibbs is a great coach. I hope he'll cry in his pile of money, and maybe he'll get another coaching job sooner than you think, and maybe he will pull a Dusty Baker with some other team like the Hawks that Allen loves so much. Maybe that's what happens. Who knows?
Any team that hires them immediately raises their floor.
Yeah,
immediately.
Exactly.
Good call.
All
Adam.
right.
Appreciate you. Adam checking in. He made the top 10 in the month of May. Felix in the house. What's up, Jake? Let's go Jets. Felix, what's up, man? Can't wait to see you at our Yankee outing, which we do have a couple tickets left for, by the way, for anyone who is interested in joining us on June 29th. Philly Noodles, close us out.
Yo, I got a minute and a half. So, first off, behind the scenes, my Gabagool brother has invited me to the party for little Joey.
Oh, you made the cut.
I made the cut behind the scenes. We had to talk about it. You know what I mean? We had to discuss it. We didn't like the Gary comment that he's fat. That is just muscle. It's pre-muscle. It's not fat. It's pre-muscle. That's right. I have pre-muscle. We all do. The Tibbs is egregious. The firing is egregious. It's disgusting. It's stupid. But I did find out, doing some research, there is an ex Celtics assistant coach that's available. He's had a pretty good winning record, and he, hit the Eastern Conference Finals a few times. We just released him. His name's fucking Tibbs. We just released Tibbs, and he is literally the best option that's possible. Like, the team's not going to clamor for him, or oh my God, it screams Dolan. And if no one has done this on your channel yet today, it's a Dolan thing. I don't care what anyone thinks. This is a Dolan thing. This was Dolan getting embarrassed by the Pacers with Reggie sitting there announcing it for 6 games on and whooping our ass, and we weren't ready. We were facing a team who just went to the Eastern Conference Championships. Like, it's not like we played a bad team. That's why I don't understand. If, let's say they win the finals, that's to say we lost to the finals champions. That's not a bad thing to say. And then go back and play in the playoffs and make it happen again the next year.
Even if Indiana gets swept by the Thunder, which the betting odds say it's going to end in 4 or 5, like, you still were one of the 3 last teams standing. So that should matter.
It just makes no sense, and it screams Dolan. And
maybe I do think Leon Rose was on board with potentially making the change. I don't think it was just him. Bill Simmons actually made a really good point on this. William Wesley was with the Pistons when they fired Carlisle and went to Larry Brown. So maybe he saw that work and he had flashbacks to that and thought, this is similar where we've gone all we could go with Carlisle. We need a new voice. I hope they're right. I just think it is so risky for the Knicks to try this. Only a year. It's not like you tried this a couple times and you didn't break through. This was the first year of this core that you made you moved all your chips to the middle of the table and said, we're all in with this group. And you have Dolan on the Roommates podcast talking about how he's excited to have continuity and they didn't try the quick fix and they built it the right way and they think they're going to have sustained success now. And it's like, yeah, the coach who was a part of all this, who made you a respected franchise again, you fired after only 1 year with this group. I just think you did him dirty. I think he deserved 1 more year with this group.
And Jake, the last thing I'll say is you just witnessed in the second round the Celtics franchise break. He broke. He tore his Achilles. What do you think is going to happen next year? They're going to be the top 3 teams? No. The Knicks had a chance to be the top 1 or 2 seed.
They still do. Yeah, they still do. I mean, Cleveland's in flux. Orlando and Detroit, are they ready to take that big of a step? Philly, you can never rely on. They're a mess. They're
Dude.
in a a window right here where the Pacers and the Knicks are going to be the favorite teams to come out of the East again next year. It's why I think you more reason to not make this brash move and just take a breath. We're all upset with how it ended, but take a step back and realize that you have a really good coach. There's some things you need to get better at. There are fair criticisms of the job he did and some of the stuff that's out there. I get all that. But I think it was just unfair to get rid of him. I mean, no one's going to change my mind. I hope the Knicks are right. Like, I hope they hire the next Steve Kerr or, whatever. But this team has been so bad for most of my life. I have very little faith in them getting this right. This feels like a panic move.
I'm on the same boat, and gabagool to us all, bro. That's it.
Ladies and gentlemen, gabagool to us all.
You son of a bitch!
Yeah! All right, before we get out of here, let's give a shout-out to Paul Taxter. He gifted 5 channel memberships. He is in the ASMANIAC raffle, which now features a full-size Broadway Joe helmet to go with a Clyde Frazier jersey, to go with a Kevin Mawai jersey, and a Bart Scott can't wait jersey. If you hear your name called, these are from Paul, M. Fritz, My Young Ring, DBZ, Doug Smith, and Peter S., all receiving channel memberships. Folks, let's end the poll. What was the best AsManiac quote during the month of May? There were 4 quotes. I am a master debater in 4th place with 15%. That was said by Gary. I anger myself. That was said by Alan, 16%. Yeah, I am a lawyer in 2nd place with 31%. And in 1st place with 36% of the vote, you voted the number 1 quote on this show in the month of May to this.
Fuck you, Alan.
F you, Alan, said by King Lowski, is number 1. And that's a show. I am back this afternoon. Andrew Fialco is on the show at 4:15 Eastern time. So if you're watching live, check back in about 3 hours and 15 minutes, and we'll be live with Fialco. Thank you again to everyone who tuned in. Thank you again to all the calls. You guys are the best. Please buy your ticket if you want to join us for Jets Panthers in section 129. These are just your tickets. We will have info about the game day tailgate once we lock in our tickets. So click the link. First 45 people are guaranteed a field pass. I think a couple more people bought tickets during the show, so we have 27 of 45 sold so far as far as the field passes. Also, if you're coming to Tampa, info on a discounted hotel at Hotel Riverwalk is available for Jake Asman Patreon users. So check out all that info, patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Join the Discord for all the info. Appreciate all of you. Again, thank you guys for watching. I'll talk to you guys soon. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy some sexiness to take you out of here.
Bobby and Charles are squeezing their knockers. Bobby and Charles are squeezing their knockers, taking their shirts off. Taking their shirts off. Taking their shirts off. Taking their shirts off. Bobby and Charles are damn sexy. Damn sexy. Let's party. Let's party. Let's party. Let's Bobby and Charles are hot and sweaty. Hot and sweaty. Let's party. Let's party. Let's party.
You get the fuck out.